Hey everybody. Hey Ruel, how are you doing?
Hey, Richard, how are you doing? I'm doing great.
I am doing fine, although I recognize that you are probably blowing out everybody's speakers right now because I have the volume gain cranked all the way up because
Oh no.
Chris is much quieter than you.
Oh, I definitely got a loud mouth, as
Yeah.
people know. So yeah, let's do a volume adjustment.
Yeah, okay,
Friends in
so
chat, let us
let's
know.
yeah, okay, so one, two, three.
One, two, three.
Folks, do we
Check.
sound
One, two.
relatively close to each other there?
How's that sound,
You're
folks?
back!
Yes, it's been a whole couple of weeks, I think.
Yep,
But
yep, yep.
I want to shout out Chris for doing such a fine job. I mean, I feel like I might be out of a job the way he did. Yeah, he was fantastic last week.
You will
I love
always be
his
first in my
channel.
heart, but it's good to have a
Thank you.
backup.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love his channel, by the way. The
Oh,
way
yeah.
he does approaches Kickstarters, I think that's such a great way to do it with the value proposition and everything. So cool.
Yep, yep, yep. Yeah,
All right.
and if you go back deeper into his archives, he's got some board game thing music videos and stuff that he's done.
Yeah.
Wide variety.
Super
Nowadays
talented
he's
guy.
just focusing on the Kickstarter stuff and the although his what do you call them? We didn't talk about them at all, but he like every month he'll pick a new mechanism and
Hmm.
his backers will do what's it called, a knockout or
Ah,
where they rank all the best of the
yeah.
best, and and then there's a final champ. I mean, there's a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff, folks. If you have
That's
not
cool.
checked out Room and Board, check out Room and Board. But Room and Board is in the rear view mirror. I've only got eyes for Ruel, and Ruel, my number one question to you is: did you watch Spirited?
Yes, I've been. We talked. We didn't talk about this before when I
No, we
on
did
air,
not.
but I've been dying to talk to you about it. Michelle and I watched it on Christmas Day.
Perfect.
Absolutely, 100% loved it. It was amazing.
Well, then let me be the
So
first to say,
good.
good afternoon,
Yeah.
you wankerous,
You
cantankerous buffoon.
you beat me to it. I
Yep, too
wanted. I
slow,
should have
pal.
said. That's all on my Facebook page. My friends have been posting. Good afternoon. Well,
Yeah.
okay, thank you. Good afternoon to you, friend. Oh, so good. You had built it up in my mind. I was like, okay, I hope this is gonna
Yeah,
be
I
as
was
good
I
as
was
what you're
worried
saying.
I built it up too much, actually.
It didn't cover like how good it was. It's so sharp. It's such a folks. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. Spirited, Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell. It's a modern take on the Christmas Carol, and oh my gosh, the songs were hilarious. The good stuff. Yeah, we loved it, and immediately it's going on our must watch every
Oh
holiday
yeah, yeah, yeah.
season.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing. I have now watched it 3 times with Jen. We
nice, nice.
never do this, or at least, I mean, we haven't watched movies, consecutively back to back. But yeah, we
Yeah,
watched it when it first showed up on Apple Plus. Actually, Jen said, "Oh, that sounds really cool. I love Will Ferrell. I don't know who this Ryan Reynolds guy is. Oh, he's the Deadpool guy. Whatever. Okay. Let's wait till Christmas." But then we watched it a couple days later because she couldn't wait,
yeah,
because it kept being like a full page banner ad on our Fire Cube, and
yeah,
then she said, "Okay, we're definitely gonna watch this on Christmas Day again." And I'm like, "Okay, fine,
yeah.
fine." And it was Wednesday of last week, so I can't wait. I want to watch it again right now. So we watched it, and they're like, "Okay, that's fine." And then we watched it on Christmas Day as well. So I've seen it
Yeah.
3 times. I'm starting to get to the point where I can quote lyrics, and I mean, I really appreciate. I mean, the more I've watched it, I mean, there's so many little things you don't pick up on, and
Yeah,
the quality of the lyrics of those songs, and there's so many. Most musicals
yeah,
do. I mean, this has got twice as many really banger numbers. Every single song is fantastic, and
yeah,
the lyricism of them are just stunning.
yeah,
When we
yeah,
watched it on Christmas, we watched it with subtitles on because when there's like a big chorus of people, you can't always make out what the background singers are saying. So
yeah,
I mean, so I was actually reading as I was and. I mean the construction of how they do mid sentence breaks midway through a given, was it not a stanza, whatever the song equivalent of a stanza is
yeah,
just so good. And it's
yeah.
from the songwriters of L.A. Story, which I mentioned at the time, also The Greatest Showman, and also Dear Evan Hansen, which
Okay,
I've not seen Dear Evan
okay.
Hansen, but we are definitely going to go watch that now for the music specifically.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. I did not know that. I can see. Yeah. Greatest Showman. I can sort of see how that would play into this. You're right about the lyrics. It was. I mean, it's not quite Hamilton, but
mm,
I mean, come on,
yeah.
it was really really good. I watch movies and TV shows with the subtitles all the time now, and for this type of thing, I'm glad that I do, because you do miss a lot if you're not really paying attention, because it goes by quickly, and then they're on to the next song, and you might miss the references and stuff. And then when they come back, like towards the end, they start, doing some callbacks to
Yeah,
the
the
stuff they talked about
reprises
before.
that,
The
yeah.
reprise. Oh, so funny.
And,
And
an incredibly powerful, strong, positive, upbeat message, too. Just
yeah,
unrelentingly, positive. And, the final song, do a
yeah,
little good.
so
Everything.
good.
Just amazing.
Yeah.
Wesley says, is it a reprise? A reprise? Is it?
Reprise? See, now I get all the jokes, folks.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah. Oh, man, it's
Speaking
so
of
good.
unrelenting positivity and optimism, Michelle and I, right after this,
Yeah.
we watched Spirited, loved it. We had never seen an episode of Ted Lasso.
So
we
you did. Since
started,
you signed up for a month of Apple
yeah,
Plus, you're going to get your
yeah,
Apple Plus worth.
we're getting it all, and we started just last night, and we knocked out the first 4 episodes. Absolutely love it already, and I can't wait to watch the whole thing. It's so I love the character. He's
Yeah.
just so positive, and yeah. So Ted Lasso, winner of my book, and Spirited, folks, go see it. It's
Don't wait till
fantastic.
next Christmas. I mean, yeah, it's the day after,
Yeah.
the day after, day after. It's worth watching.
Yeah.
Any time of the year, quite frankly.
Agreed.
Yeah. Let's see.
Wes Lloyd is here with the good afternoon. Good afternoon to you, friend.
Good afternoon to everyone.
Uh,
Yeah. Even the song about being a dick, you just can't help but smile listening to it.
yeah, I know. Yeah, it's funny because I remember watching at the start. You're like, okay, this is gonna be standard, holiday movie, whatever. But then once they move on after the first 15, 20 minutes or so, then it starts getting that, the humor of the rest of the show, and it still makes me laugh. It's so good, folks.
Yeah.
Um,
I cannot recommend it enough. Wes Lloyd,
Yeah.
you should have started your question with a question mark. You know better. But I will say I have not watched Luck yet. Actually, I started watching a bit of Luck, and honestly, I was not in love with the animation. It felt a little substandard. But I mean, honestly, Apple Plus, it might be of all the streamers, and I've tried them all out over the year at various times. You turn them on for a month, see some stuff, turn it back off. A few months later, you get another month. I think they might have consistently the highest quality shows and movies across the board.
Okay.
Not necessarily my
That's good to know.
favorites, because if I have to pick one, it'll still be Disney Plus for all the Marvel stuff, because I'll
Right.
forever make mine Marvel. But Apple Plus just, maybe not see, which I don't know if you've watched that. That's the one in the post-apocalyptic future where no one can see, and yet everybody sure acts like they can see. And I know sometimes they kind of give lip service or eye service to the fact they can't see. I don't know.
I would do it. Yeah. Well, if Spirited and Ted Lasso are any indication of the quality, then I may have to be signing up for the rest of the year, because these are both outstanding shows and movies. I Have we talked about Andor yet? Did we get into that
I
conversation?
think we talked about it a little bit. Yes, we did, because we
Yeah.
were both so late to the party, and I think we
Yeah.
both finally got around to watching it and binging it
Yeah.
at the same time. So I think we talked about that a few weeks ago. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that show. I think it's adult Star Wars, or Star Wars for adults.
Yes, yeah.
It's
Not in a
so
sexy
good.
way or
No,
an
yeah,
immature
not
way, but in an
adult.
actual this is thoughtful.
Yeah.
This is a show that your kids will be bored with,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
they don't have the life experience to appreciate
Exactly.
the dramatic narrative without. I mean,
Yeah.
the whole season, I think there's 3 action scenes the whole time,
Yeah.
and the rest of
Yeah.
the show is just people talking.
Yeah, and not one laser sword. So
Yep.
this is
Nary a
definitely
laser sword to be found.
Yeah. So I was surprised, because I was torn at first. About halfway through, I'm like, I'm still a laser swords type of guy, but then just the way the story went, it's like, oh man, like by the end of the show, I was ready to sign up for the rebellion. It's like down with the Empire.
Yep.
Yeah, so good.
All right. Well, cool. So, we're caught up now. Let's pull
Okay.
up the list of things to do that people have requested.
Cool.
We've got a Trivial Pursuits and a top 3. Let's get that wheel out. We haven't done that for a while. I think that came in last week. I mean, whoever requested was probably hoping it would be some Chris trivia. I'd be curious about some Chris trivia as well. But you'll have to do with my trivia or Ruel's trivia if I can, in fact, find the wheel.
All right.
Because we have not spun it for a while. Alrighty. Okay, there it is. Yes. Oh, and now I got to log in to be able to push the button to
the
spin
wheel's
it.
all
All right,
full
so
again.
I'll
I
hide
forgot
it for a
about
second
Okay.
while waiting for the login. Alrighty, there it is. Now we'll bring it back. We gotta do this thing. Stop it! I don't need that. All right, now I gotta. All right. Yeah, if I don't look at this thing every once in a while, it kind of falls apart.
Mm,
and I got to do a bunch of login stuff.
no worries.
But here we go.
While
Here we
you're
go. Here we
doing
go.
that,
Okay, got the
okay,
wheel.
cool, got it.
Gonna spin it. And it looks like it could be either of us or just some general purpose trivia if it comes out that way.
Okay.
And it looks like, no, it's me. I got to
Wow.
pony up the trivia this time. So, Ruel, what have I not talked about? I feel like I've told my whole life story via trivia snippets.
I know. I feel like we're both reaching at this point. Well, okay. You've talked about first job. You've talked about Jen. You've talked about your time in the video game industry. Have we really we've dove into some of your start as a content creator.
Yeah.
What about, have you talked about the moment when you went from just doing this as sort of like, hey, I'm just gonna film stuff on my iPhone or whatever, to like, hey, I'm gonna get serious and put like a little studio
What
together
would
and
that be? Is there
Yeah.
any interesting moment there? Let's see. Actually, it was. I mean, well, the thing is, I mean, that really didn't happen until we moved back to the States. I was never really taking it that seriously. It wasn't until we
Yeah.
moved back and we suddenly had to, deal with American healthcare. Hey, guess what? Remember how I had all that foot stuff? Here's some trivia
Yeah.
having nothing to do with what you said. Remember my foot problem I
Well,
had a couple months ago at the same
yeah,
time?
yeah.
You were
Okay.
having much bigger problems than mine, and it just dwelled for week after week after week, month after month after month. Finally, was it? After 2 months of, trying to use crutches and walking around practically on one foot, or almost, probably like 6 weeks, I finally get in to see a podiatrist. Of course, by the time I get to see that podiatrist, remember, the first doctor I had that weird boot. So after
Yeah,
6 weeks of all kinds of stuff, by the time I finally get to see the podiatrist, it's all but gone. So I go in,
Of course. Yeah.
and she was a very nice lady, and she talked to me
Yeah.
for maybe 15 minutes. Said, yeah, that happens sometimes. You should switch shoe brands because your shoes don't have enough arch support. I'm like, all right. And she took one of my
Okay.
shoes and put basically like a lump in it. So now on my left foot, I walk around on a lump all the time. And I
Oh.
was in and out in less than 15 minutes. How much did
Okay.
that cost me, Ruel?
Oh, I'm afraid to ask, to be honest. I mean, I hope it's not 4 figures. Is it 4
No.
figures?
It was a mere
Okay.
$350. And that's after, plus $50 for my copay.
For your copay.
Yes,
Yep.
of course. And I thought, well,
Ugh.
all right, my copay is probably going to be another $50 or $100 or something like that. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
waste of time. Yes, she
Yeah,
made a suggestion for different types of shoes. Next time I buy shoes, I'll switch to that. But those shoes are going to cost me a hell of a lot.
Yeah. Okay.
And it is for that reason that when we moved back to the States, I had to really start taking Rahdo runs through seriously. Because up
Yeah.
until then, I was covering, Kickstarter's games like crazy, but I never charged.
Yep.
And actually, a good deal of the board game media sphere hated my guts for it because everybody else was charging. Like, Richard's making us look bad because, one, they get more views with Richard, and two, he doesn't charge anything. I mean, this is really terrible. And like, when I came back to the States, we're like, oh, well, crap. This is ridiculously expensive to live in this country. It's much cheaper to live in
Yeah.
Malta with free health care.
Gosh.
That was when I had to start doing it, and but it was just a matter of practicality. I guess I had started taking it seriously prior to that when we were still in Malta. What was it? Oh no, it was again because of my mother. Because before we moved back to the States, what was it, like a year before then? My mom ran into some really big financial hardships, so we had to start supporting her remotely, and so that suddenly became a big. And that's when I started. What did I start doing? I don't remember. I didn't start charging. Oh, I think that's maybe when I turned on ads. Maybe. I forget.
Okay.
There was like one little baby step where I was just trying to increase my income a little bit. But then, but when we moved back here, that's when we made the big switch. Switched from Kickstarter yearly fundraisers to monthly Patreon fundraisers. It really turned on mid-roll ads, which I'd been adverse to doing. And it's weird.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody complains about mid-roll ads. I don't understand why.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I don't see them because I pay for YouTube Premium. But if
Yeah.
ever I turn that off or I'm not logged in, I'm like, geez Louise, there's an ad every 5 minutes in every video. And I'm probably dumb because I'm only putting them in once every 15 minutes. And so I could probably double my ad income if I would put them in one every 7 minutes. And presumably people wouldn't complain about it, but I just can't bring myself to do it.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
Wait,
so
there's some-
basically, yeah.
there's
So
some
you came back to the States and the healthcare thing, and it's like, okay, now I've got to, got to really consider the money aspect of this.
Yes. Yep. Oh, as Wes Lloyd says, welcome to America, where your existence is fee-based. Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's right. Well, I'm glad your foot's feeling better.
Oh
I
yeah,
mean,
it's
you're
100% fine now. I can run on it. I should have just left it alone. And I mean, I expected after a couple of weeks it'd be fine. After
yeah.
4 weeks in, it's still not. And that's when I really started saying maybe something is really broken. And she's had a term
Yeah.
for it. And so yeah, it happens sometimes. Like,
Okay.
I'm in my 50s. It's never happened to me. This doesn't happen sometimes to me.
Yeah.
Come on. So
Well, I'm glad
yeah,
I'm glad it
like I
wasn't
said, it'll be a
broken.
very
Yeah.
expensive set of shoes when I take her
Okay.
advice and replace my current
Okay.
shoes that are quite unpleasant now because I walk around on a big lump,
Jeez.
lump. But I mean, I haven't any problems since then. So
Okay.
failed
I
it.
was gonna say I was wondering if the doctor was gonna tell you you might have broken it back at Dice Tower West when you decided to jump off the stage.
Yes, clearly I should have done a full roll when I stage dived off whatever that was.
Yeah,
Honestly, I did not appreciate just how high up we were on that stage.
yeah, I remember when you did it. I was like, my heart went in my throat. I'm like, no. Folks, we're referring back to Dice Tower West when Richard and I did the R&R Show live at the convention, and we're on stage, and I think it was early on. You decided to go take some questions from the audience.
Yeah, to grab a mic and run out and ask questions in the audience because we do Q&As. Yeah.
Yeah. So instead of taking the stairs at the end of the stage,
they were
Richard
a long ways
decided
away. It was a big stage.
Not that far. I mean, it was scary. It scared the heck out of me. But I'm glad you survived that. I'm glad your foot is okay.
Yes.
And here we are.
All right. Well, okay. So that was some trivia. I believe there was also a request for a top 3, which is always fun.
Oh yeah.
So
always.
Folks, start asking us. What would you like top 3 of?
So we can come up with a definitive list.
And by the way,
we
you
do
no
have some
longer
questions
disagree. I said I would accept any argument against Spirited as a top 3 Christmas movie, and you are 100% on board now, right?
Oh yeah.
All
it's top 3 for sure. I don't know if it's my top spot, but it's really close.
Oh, it is my top spot easily. Honestly, I'm pretty confident it might be in my top 10 movies of all time, quite frankly.
I cannot see, I cannot argue with that.
The more I watch it, having watched it 3 times now in the space of whatever it is, 2 or 3 weeks, there's just so much more I appreciate. The humor does not get stale. It's just laugh out loud funny. And I mean, I really love musicals. And I mean, I need to go back and watch Hamilton again. I've never seen it live. I've only seen it on Disney Plus.
Same.
But yeah. Anyway, though.
Yeah.
Top.
Do you and Jen go see musicals? Do you ever get a chance to go to musicals?
We did a lot back when we lived in Seattle in our 20s.
Okay.
I mean, I saw like Miss Saigon live. It was like the touring Broadway show. Yeah. We used to do that kind of stuff all the time. We loved it. I've always loved musicals.
Same here.
Yeah, back in our 20s, which was still in the 90s, instead of making mixtapes for Jens, I would, take our VHS limited edition Disney classics and I would record all the songs from Little Mermaid and, dub them onto a cassette tape so that you could, because the official ones, they always redid the songs and they sounded terrible. They were so much better in the movie. And you get all the little asides from the actors and stuff like that. So we used to do that a lot. And so, I mean, pretty much I could do every song from Little Mermaid word for word, including all the extra throwaway lines from Ursula or whatever.
I love that. So you were making mixtapes from VHS to cassette. That is so cool. Oh my goodness. Okay, we've got some.
All right, somebody must have listed some by now.
See. Top 3s. I mean, don't forget, folks. A question mark gets you into the queue if you start your comment with it. Okay, we've got top 3 board games not available in English. Ooh.
Okay. All right. Non-English board games. That's a cool one. That's a
cool one.
Might have to think about that, but I'm sure it could come up. Boy, could I come up with that? I mean, if it's not available in English, I don't think I've played it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. But here's another one. How about top 3 out of print games?
Right. Okay.
Is a good one.
Yeah.
This is very timely. Top 3 games to play for New Year's Eve.
New Year's Eve. Okay, I like that.
Okay. More games. Top 3 publisher production standards. Ooh.
What does that mean?
I guess, like, what are the best publishers as far as production quality goes for their games?
Okay.
Is that right, Wes Lloyd? That's what I'm assuming.
What do you mean, Wes Lloyd? Top 3,
Yeah.
yes. Game, publisher, production, standards.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. Let's see if they clear it up.
He cleared it up by saying yes.
Let's see. Do you guys? Oh no, that's not a top 3. What games are you both? Oh, Mr. Broom is asking, what games are you both itching to play right now?
All right.
That's just a question. We could just answer that later.
Well, if you don't have 2 more, I'll put it on the list.
Okay. Okay. Top 3 Star Trek shows.
All right.
Westloyd.
That one's near and dear to my heart. Everybody knows my number 1.
Yep.
But my number 2 may surprise as well.
Yeah. How many do we have so far? That's all I see in the queue right now. Oh, wait. Publishers? Yep. Westloyd confirms publishers whose production quality is always top-notch.
Rank publisher production, the top 3 best. Yeah. I mean, when you said standards, I'm like, okay, are you saying things that actually create industry standards? I guess that's kind of what you mean.
Oh, okay. Oh, I like this one from EP Casual. Yes. Top 3 language independent games.
All right.
Very nice. I like that one a lot.
All right. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay. Independent, not dent. Dant.
Wait, dent or damp? I think it's dent, no?
Nope, it's dant. All righty, folks, you got 2 minutes to pick. Pick one of them. And what will it be?
All right, folks. And you can use your Rahdo channel points to influence the vote, because I am going to be voting for my favorite right now.
I sure know. All right. Star Trek Shows has 1 vote.
I wonder who voted there.
Oh, I voted for anybody else. That was fast. Okay, but that's going to be the 1 vote against.
Out of print games, language independent games. No New Year's Eve games, huh? Interesting.
You know one that I think of every once in a while, and I never think of it at the moment, but if somebody ever asked, it'd be great. Top 10 TV theme songs. Or top 3.
Oh, yeah. We have not done that before.
I don't believe we have. And I mean, I have very strong thoughts about that. I could easily do a top 10, quite frankly.
Oh, same here. Do we have an extra top 3 that someone hasn't cashed in? I'd be happy to do that right now. Oh, man.
If they did another one, it would be the number 2 off of this list. So it would have to wait until later.
Yeah. Oh, man. Folks, don't forget to spend those points. You could find out the top 3 TV theme songs of all time. Man, there's so many good ones.
What does everybody hate? Nobody has voted for New Year's Eve games.
Really?
New Year's Eve is coming, folks. Don't you need? I guess they've already made their decision.
Don't you want to play games on New Year's Eve, folks? Come on now. Okay. What else we got here? Language independent, out of print games.
Yeah, I could go
Star Trek shows. Okay.
Yeah. Language independent or out of print. It looks like those are the early odds-on favorites. Which those are the hard ones. Of course.
Those are tough.
But that's okay. That's okay.
Like I'm sort of going in my mind right now which ones I would go with, and I can't. I'm gonna have to go to BGG and find some games.
Well, yeah, of course. I mean, and the audience, of course, can help as well. I mean, I've always depended on the kindness of strangers. All right, coming down to the wire, and it is out of print games. Literally the hardest one. Because here's the thing, folks. Literally every game is out of print.
Yeah.
By definition, as soon as they do their print run of it, it's done. Even at any given time, Ticket to Ride is out of print until they decide to do a reprint. Now, to be fair, that's going to be every week, probably in that case.
Right.
But for 6 days out of 7, it is out of print. So, but I know that's not what people mean. So let's go on ahead and
Well, I do have one.
You can think of one right off the top of your head? All right.
Yeah, because this is a game that I have and I love and I enjoy. And it will never be printed again due to licensing issues.
Oh, sure.
It is Chaos in the Old World. The old Fantasy Flight game. It's a Warhammer property.
Oh, that's right. It is Warhammer, isn't it?
Yeah. Eric Lang design. So this is basically the precursor to Blood Rage. Some people prefer this to Blood Rage. I go back and forth. This is truly more asymmetrical.
Yep.
But it doesn't flow as smoothly as Blood Rage. It's still a troops on a map game. You're trying to get, area majority and things. But this one, the factions truly are set up to be different from the get-go. They play very, very differently. I'm not really familiar with the world. I learned all about Khorne and all those other factions through this game. But I really enjoyed it enough to track down my own out-of-print copy with the expansion, which is really tough to find.
Oh, wow.
That adds like a 5th faction. Really fun game, but I go back and forth. Sometimes I like it more than Blood Rage, but I think I'd lean more towards Blood Rage because Blood Rage is a little more streamlined. But you can see a lot of what Eric was leading up to in Blood Rage through Chaos in the Old World. So really,
I mean,
good
it guys
game.
it could come back if they decided they just wanted to throw away. I mean, because they've done that in the past. The games they've lost the license for, then they've re-themed it with one of their own universes.
Yeah.
So that could happen. It could be set. They could bring it back in the Terranoth universe.
There you go. Yeah.
And and probably, quite frankly, do better than it did, because that means they would not actually print the board on human skin.
I know that was always one thing. Like when I didn't know what to expect. I just knew the reputation of the game. Then when I got it, I'm like, oh man, this is sort of gruesome.
Yes, very.
So yeah. So anyways, that's one of our I think a really great out of print game.
That is certainly a well loved game. I've never played it. I never would. I've seen it in real life. I've been in the presence of it. I mean, actually, and speaking of Fantasy Flight, I mean, my go-to would be Space Hulk Death Angel. The exact same problem. Fantasy Flight, Warhammer 40K, license lost. I just played it within the last month because I finally got around to doing a quick video of the blister pack expansions that were always hard to get because they were print on demand and there were very few of them out there. And they literally, it's hundreds of bucks for a little pack of like 20 cards that people will pay for it. And I felt like, well, all right, I should actually weigh in on whether it's worth hundreds of bucks. Spoiler alert, it's not. And of course the go-to easy answer is always, I think, has anybody said it? Yes, of course. Yeah. As Wes Lloyd says, Glory to Rome. That's the easy one. So here's the thing. We just gave 3 really easy answers.
Yeah. Should we?
That's kind of phoning. Those are literally phoning it in answers when it goes right down to it.
Maybe let's dig in a little.
If we dig a bit deeper, well, I don't have to dig much deeper because Wes Lloyd gives me. This was my Grail game for a long time, Walnut Grove, from designer Tuco Tacalia, the designer of Eclipse. Walnut Grove is basically Little House on the Prairie, the board game, as a lovely mid-weight crunchy Euro. It had the misfortune of coming out the same year as Eclipse. And you would think, oh, hey, everybody loves Eclipse. You should go see his other game. You're like, nope, everybody's just too busy loving Eclipse. So, and it's been long out of print. I loved my copy, and it was lost in our move from Malta back to the U.S. And so for a few years, I did not have it. And I was looking, it's like, okay, I'm not going to pay $100 for this. But then a super fan of the show found a copy and surprised me and sent it to me as a gift. So I've still got it. Which I'm very happy about. So, I mean, that is a really good one. That's not just the tried and true, really obvious one.
That's cool. Just going. I'm thinking of all these Fantasy Flight games out, like Battlestar Galactica. That's been out of print for a while. And that's
sure.
That's a game that was.
But you do have that. That's back as Unfathomable.
Yeah. Wait a second. Is it? Yeah, Battlestar Galactica is out of print, right?
Yes. Yeah. Again, it's the same thing. Fantasy Flight losing all their licenses, or not renewing them, I suppose.
The one that I bought. This is a Grail game for me, folks. This one is Star Wars: The Queen's Gambit, and
you have Star Wars Queen's Gambit?
Yeah, I do not have it. I would love to get it. Again, it's probably not my favorite. I mean, it's like. Isn't it based on episode 1?
It's based on it's based on Attack of it's based on the Phantom Menace, the first prequel movie.
But it's got those 3 like different.
Would you like a really well placed good afternoon?
Yeah, good afternoon.
When we moved to Malta. And I'm looking, I mean, this was, 10 years ago now. At the time, Malta didn't really have a board gaming scene to speak of. They had one Magic the Gathering, Warhammer 40K, little hole in the wall, right? I mean, every town, every moderate-sized town has one of those. And I figured, okay, well, this is it for board games. I guess I'll go in and check out, and I go, I don't need any of this Magic. Oh, I don't need any of this Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, I don't need any of this Warhammer 40K. And up on the top row, they did have some board games, because clearly, obviously, 10 years prior, they had said, hey, let's branch out into board games. And they were all up there. No one could see them. They were gathering dust, still in shrink. And one of them was a Queen's Gambit. Still in shrink.
What?
Sold for sticker price.
No.
No idea what they had.
Oh my goodness.
So I picked it up because, of course, I had to. And I paid whatever it was, 60 euros for it or some such. In shrink.
Gosh.
And now this is when I first moved to Malta, because I was in Malta for like 3 months before Jen showed up. Because she was, finishing up our old life before moving to a new life. And so I had no one to play it with. But I took it all out. I set it all up. And so it was literally set up on our dining room table that I used to film games in the castle in Emdina for like 2 months, just sitting there.
Oh my God.
And literally gathering dust on the components instead of on the shrink wrap. And when I vent, and Jen's like, "Oh, she's here. Okay, we're finally gonna play this thing." And I sit down and read the rules, like, "Oh my God, we're gonna hate this game." Never played it. Took it apart, put it back in the box, sold it for €200.
Oh, okay. Well, oh man, wow. Well, at least you turned a nice little profit.
Oh
there,
yeah, in a big way.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Wow,
And I'm sure
yeah,
whoever got it is probably very, very happy because, of course, as you said, I mean, that is an ultimate grail game. And, I mean, it is a very impressive game. If I was at all interested in Dudes on a Map, that you're literally playing 3 games that are very, very different simultaneously. The space battle and the droid battle and the Jedi battle. And they all function differently, but they're driven by the same cards. It's pretty neat. It really should get... I mean, who did it originally? Oh, was it Days of Wonder? Is that right? That can't be right.
Wasn't it like Hasbro or some like toy company?
Or I think you're right. I think that's what it was. Yeah. I mean, that Restoration Games should get on the phone and bring that back. Talk about... Oh, Avalon Hill, says
Avalon Hill,
Travis.
there it is. That's
but
right.
Restoration Games should get on the phone with whoever's around from Avalon Hill and and pay that fee, whatever it is, to Lucas or to Disney, I suppose, and that will clean up.
Yeah.
People want that game so bad.
I really enjoy, I think a very stripped down version of it is Risk Star Wars.
I guess that is the case, right? They said, this is kind of the spiritual successor, sort of, kind of. But not really. Because it's not 3 stories tall with 50 bajillion little robot droids blasting each other out while Jedis duel to the death over there. It's not quite the same.
But it is based on the better Star Wars. It's based on Return of the Jedi. So you've got the fight on Endor, you've got Luke versus Vader, and then you have the attack on the second Death Star. Like, story-wise, it's better. Mechanically, a lot more simple.
I thought we put our Star Wars behind us, but I would take...
Return of the Jedi is way better than the first episode. Come on, give me
honestly,
that.
Return of the Jedi is one of the worst Star Wars films, quite frankly.
Wait, but it's better than Episode 1. Come on, give me that.
No.
Please.
Episode 1 is significantly superior to Return... Like I said, literally, Return of the Jedi is probably the second worst after whatever the Skywalker one, The Last Skywalker, Rise of Skywalker.
Wait, so you think Rise of Skywalker is worse than Attack of the Clones?
And Attack of the Clones. Oh gosh, yeah. Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, really?
And honestly, Rise of Skywalker isn't that bad. I might actually put it above Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is good for one thing: every second spent with Luke, the Emperor, and Darth Vader. All of that is absolutely quintessential and near perfection. And everything else is Han Solo going, trying to blow out the flames that the little teddy bears are going to set him on fire. And, I mean, it's iconic because it was part of everyone's childhood. I get it. But, I mean, honestly, I'm sorry, Lucas. And Irving Kershner are better. I mean, Richard Marquardt, it was just not the director for Star Wars, quite frankly, when it boils right down to it. And, I've said my piece. I've burned the internet to the ground, but I'll stand by it.
There it is. The hot take of the day, folks.
Yes. Always come to me for hot Star Wars takes.
Yes. Oh, my gosh.
All right. So anyway, Walnut Grove, totally. And and I saw somebody else mentioned Hawaii, totally as well. That is such... I don't know. Have you ever played Hawaii? I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't.
No, I have not.
Yep. Yeah, because somebody threw it in the garbage famously and pretty much destroyed the game where it stood, and no one has ever wanted to pick it up since. But it was such a really, really wonderful Euro. I've still got my copy, and I'm still happy to have it. It was at one point Jen's top 20 Euros of all time, or top 20 games. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's 2. I've got 2 that aren't just the really easy obvious. Oh, and then you have Gambit, Star Wars Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit, yeah.
Yeah, we've given them 6. I think we've given them enough.
Yeah. We phoned it in for the first 3, but then we actually came up with 3 3
that aren't quite so immediately obviously obvious.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, and trust me, I believe you will very much enjoy Hawaii if you ever get a chance to play it.
Can you give me a quick over? I've even heard of it.
Oh, it is a game where you are the chief of a Hawaiian tribe. We each have our own island where we are trying to do tile laying, and it's gosh, what's it like? I don't know if you ever played Kiesling's Vikings, where when you get tiles, you have to place them progressively further to the right, to the right, to the right, and you're trying to put them in rows to be able to activate all the rows, but you're also trying to get the correct ones lined up in columns, because when you fill up a column, you get different bonuses. But that's what you're trying to do. It's a tiling with like some strict restrictions that makes it very puzzly. But the way you get those tiles is what makes the game special, because the big island of Hawaii, when you send your chief over there, your chief starts out up at the top of the board. And every turn, you get to move downwards, down to the left, down to the right. You can move back up, but it's very expensive. So you are trying to plan out your moves, saying, okay, well, I'm going to come to that one, and then I'll move down to that one, and then I'll move down to that one, and that one over there. And so it's got two really good puzzles for collecting the tiles and then using the tiles. And then it has a very cool system for determining the cost value of those tiles too, because the values are always changing based on what other players grab. It's really, and it's just joyous. It is, you are a chief whose sole job is to make to improve the quality of life of your tribe through a whole bunch of puzzly goodness. I really enjoy it a lot.
So you had compared it. Is this a Michael Kiesling game, or we compared?
No, it was a first-time designer, first time, last time, unfortunately.
The one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
nice.
One-hit wonder. And I remember at the time, he had other designs he was working on, but because that game just got so stomped to the ground, Greg Daigle, I just went and looked it up. He basically said, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that wasn't for me.
Yeah. It's interesting. You're comparing it. So you're compared to Kiesling's Vikings game. Is that
what
it was?
Have you played Vikings?
I have not, but I've played something by Kiesling, I believe, called Adventureland, which uses a similar go across and go down.
Well, Adventureland is interesting, but yeah, this is Adventureland has the whole, hey, you're working over and working down, but this is more about how you lay tiles. That you have to lay tiles out in a grid, and once you've chosen a given row, you can keep on expanding that row to make that row stronger for scoring, but you're also trying to make sure your columns work out well too.
Okay.
Yeah. And we've seen other stuff like this, but at the time, it was really ahead of the curve. What was it? It was a 2011 game. And and you'll never see the like of it again.
Wow.
Sadly.
A one-hit wonder. Interesting.
Yep.
Okay, I want to check that out.
All right. Well, hey, let's see if anybody has requested anything else, because I think we are caught up. Okay. Yes, we have, folks. You have your points. You can have us do shout-outs. You can ask for more trivia. You could get Ruel to rank a game or two. But if not, we can get right to the show.
Can we answer one question from Westloyd? Westloyd's got a question in there. Can we answer one question?
Sure.
Westloyd asks, do you guys receive board games for Christmas, or do you specifically avoid them? And this actually opens up. We haven't talked yet. How was your Christmas, Richard? Do you celebrate?
Yes, we should go back to the Chitchat. Well, do I receive board games for Christmas? Do I receive anything for Christmas? No. Jen and I stopped giving gifts to each other many, many years ago. And I think over time, kind of the rest of the family is taking a hint. And so they don't send us anything anymore. And we don't really spend much time spending them stuff either. Instead, just try to make sure we can go and see them or do phone calls and whatnot. So there's really pretty much no gift giving going out or coming in. This year, two of our lovely neighbors in this kind of former retired community that we live in, although, man, there's a whole story about that. But anyway, they dropped off some stuff at our door, just like Christmas bags with some stuff inside. And so we felt, okay, well, shoot, we need to do something. So I believe Jen made something. She made some kind of bread. And so she baked up a couple of loaves of that, and then we dropped those off at the, at their doorstep so they could have some nice bread or whatever it was. Or maybe she got some chocolates. I don't remember. So we did a little bit of that. So anyway, surprisingly to us, we did have actually something to open up on Christmas Day. One of them is, right before we got online, I was mentioning, Jen is feeling way under the weather. We just did our COVID test for her. It's not COVID, but she's just been sick as a dog yesterday and today. So so we've actually literally been sleeping on the other opposite sides of the house, so I don't get it. Jen is not cooking food for me, and whenever that happens, I got to fend for myself. And Ruel's first question was, does that mean you're back to an all beef jerky diet? And I'm like, no, we have no beef jerky. So I've been eating these weird Italian cakes that our neighbor made for us for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Because I just can't be bothered. I throw a slice or two of it in the microwave. It's very good. It's an Italian fruit cake. I looked up Paletto or Coletto or something like that.
Okay.
So that's what I've been eating. Thank you, Edie, You've been feeding me throughout the holidays. That's not all I've had. Jen had some soup in the freezer, so I got some of that. I've been having soup for dinner,
Nice.
but I've been having Italian fruitcake for breakfast. And let's see, Jen had bought some nice Christmas lights. We had some like old, really crappy, like a one of those nets you can just throw over a bush.
Yep.
We had that. We've had that thing for like 30 years. Right? Since our early 20s, we've had it. And every year we get it out. It's just one color, and it's old and brittle, and it barely works, and a lot of light bulbs won't work even if you put new light bulbs in. So Jen broke down and bought some new ones that are, fiber, and, they do all kinds of cool animations and whatnot. But it's still just a big, gigantic net that we can just throw on a bush out front. So that's it. We've done the bare minimum, a very cool, colorful net of lights on one of the bushes in front of our houses. We have an old, very, very old, like family heirloom porcelain tree that's about this tall that you can plug in, and it's just got a bunch of lights on it. So we got that out, and that's what we put, Edie and I forget who the other neighbor was, Darlene, Edie and Darlene's Christmas bags under that tree. And that's about it. We are not, we watched, what did we watch? We watched Elf, we watched Arthur Christmas, and then we watched Spirited 3 times. That was where most of our Christmas cheer came from.
Nice. Oh, that sounds lovely. I'm glad you were able to exchange gifts and get gifts from your neighbors. Very nice. No board games, though.
Cosmic, first time chatter, broke the silence to say it's Panettone. That is correct. It's very good. I've never. Okay. It's nice and light and fluffy. I like it.
Does it come in like that little sort of weird looking box? It's like this big or whatever.
It basically came wrapped in plastic on a plate because she made it by hand.
Oh, she made it. Yeah. Oh, even better.
Yep.
Cool.
So how about you? How were your holiday festivities? I imagine a bit more festive.
They were a bit more festive, but again, just with everything at the house and stuff, we didn't really, do up the house as we normally do with the decor and stuff. But like we do every year, we go to my brother's on Christmas Eve, and when we were kids, our Christmas celebration was always sort of like New Year's Eve. We'd go to Christmas Eve and count till midnight, and that's when we'd open presents. So that was how we would do it. Nowadays,
okay.
You know what?
Everything.
Yeah, nowadays we get together at my brother's house. Around like 3 o'clock, we have an early dinner, and then by 8 o'clock, we're like, let's just open presents. We're not waiting till midnight. And the kids love that. And we play some games and hang out. It's just a time to hang out. And then Christmas Day, Michelle and I, this year. Okay, so I'm excited about this year. My goal this year, 2023, is to get more organized. Because as you know, Richard, like I can be sort of scatterbrained.
You mean next year? Because you're running out of time for this year to get more organized. You have very little time left.
I gave up for this year. I'm not going to get organized this year, but next year. So Michelle and I got these things called rocket books. We gave each other a rocket book for Christmas, and a rocket book, folks. It's like a notebook.
Okay.
But it's not paper. It's like I don't know what material it is, but you use a special pen, and on this pen, it's basically a book that you can reuse over and over, and it's digital as well. So you take a photo of it, and it goes immediately to one of your Google Drives or whatever. Yeah, it's really
I'm looking at them now.
Yeah, because I try to do that whole mix of like I take a bunch of notes everywhere by hand because I'm old school. I got Post-its, I've got notebooks everywhere, and I figure with this, at least if I have my rocket book, I write it here, I snap a photo, and then it goes right to my Google Drive, a special drive that I have just set up for rocket.
And you can review it on your phone wherever you are and stuff like that. Yeah,
you can search stuff, so it's searchable. I can totally search my notes and stuff. So we're excited about that, and that's pretty much our big splurge.
You can't be too excited because you don't have it on you. What if inspiration? What if you got struck by Inspirato right now and you don't have your rocket book? But you have a window, not till 2023.
I say it's 2022.
Exactly,
I still got my Post-its and stuff, so I'm fine until next year. I've got all until next year to do it. But yeah, that's as far as board games. I tell everyone not to get me board games just because you and I know we get tons of deliveries every week, which is fine. And I like Michelle. I say this to Michelle all the time. It's like Christmas every couple of days here, anyways. I get packages. Very, very kind publishers send games, and I order stuff as well. So, board games. I won't complain if I get a board game, but I tell them, you know what, I work in the industry just like you do, and we get enough games as it is. But very, very fun times as always. Just taking the time to spend with family and friends.
That's interesting. How your traditions have morphed over the years. When I was a kid, on Christmas Eve, we were allowed to open one present because generally Ryan and I, we had a present from our folks and from one aunt and uncle and another aunt and uncle and a grandmother on one side and a grandmother. So we generally had like 5 or 6 presents and we got to pick one. And so it was always like the big ritual. Which one are we going to do with the biggest one? I don't know. That might be a red flag, a fake out. And then we'd open the rest on the morning of. But yeah.
We also do, we've done this on and off over the years, and we brought it back this year. We do the white elephant gift exchange.
Oh, yeah.
Have we ever done that? Let me share this story real quick. We've got a few minutes here. This still cracks me up to this day. So we did this one year when even though our youngest nephews and nieces were involved with the white elephant. So my white elephant gift, I wrapped it up and my nephew opened it up. And what it was a photograph of myself autographed, and the autograph said, "To my biggest fan, to whom it may concern, your pal Ruel." So my nephew got it, and I still feel bad, but it was funny at the time too. But he just started crying. He's like, "I don't want this." I was like, "You don't want this autographed picture of your Uncle Ruel?" So, oh man! So years later, I found out that he started doing it to his friends as well. He took a picture of himself and autographed it and gave it to his friends for the white elephant.
Ah, very good, very good. So you passed on the gift of cheapness.
Yes, totally.
Yep. And phoning it in. Under a veneer of irony. Well done.
Yes.
The next generation is taken care of in the Gaviola household.
My work is done here.
Yeah, Jen did there was a get-together of ladies of the community, and Jen had been kind of not wanting to go, and she we'll go to this one. And they did a white elephant. And apparently our favorite neighbor in the neighborhood had brought, her white elephant gift that somebody else got was just a nice little wicker basket, nothing fancy, just a little wicker basket. And the person who got it clearly didn't like it, and nobody else was taking it. And eventually, when it came around to Jen, she's like, "Oh, I feel really bad." It's for Edie, with the Pantone. Okay, I'm going to take that. And Jen made a big deal about, "Oh, this is perfect. I got just the place for it. I know what we're going to put in this thing. It's just absolutely great. Thank you so much. I absolutely love it." Because she felt Edie was a little deflated because nobody seemed to really care about it. And so then we open up our bag from Edie on Christmas Day, and we get the Pantone, and we get another one of those wicker baskets. And the thing is, we have no use for this wicker basket at all. So now we have 2 of them.
Well, now you can, the next time you enter a white elephant, there's your
yes,
gift,
exactly. Right? Just not one in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, funny.
Yes.
All right. Yeah, so that's Christmas, folks. Thank you for the question or comment, Wes Lloyd. Appreciate it. We've got more Q&A, but we can do that after.
Yeah. Let's let's go on ahead and fight. Oh, hey, one thing we do. It feels like it's been a lifetime since we've done. We have to give stuff away. It is finally time to give. Not this one because I'm keeping this LED game mat and game mat or game bag. I've got the wheel. Hold on a second. Let me just double check to make sure no more entries have come in. Just in the whatever we've been talking for an hour. As I collate this morning, okay, refresh, go to contest folder, check the main folder just in case somebody got it wrong, and nope, okay, good. Okay, so we're set. Come back over to the big wheel. Let's look at the browser. Boop. And one lucky winner, because it did successfully fund. It was a squeaker. I was afraid it wasn't going to fund. And they were like, "What are we going to do? There's no..."
Oh, wow.
But the did fund. So whoever wins this is going to be able to get the LED lined game mat in one of 6 colors and in 8 sizes, or the coolest game bag the industry's ever seen. Here we go.
Nice. There are a lot of names on that wheel. Good luck, everybody.
Yaya!
Yaya!
Yaya! I don't know who Yaya is, but I've got your email address, Yaya. So congratulations, Yaya indeed. I wonder, is that German, do you suppose? Because Ya is yes in German, but it also feels kind of Spanish, right?
That's what I would assume, yeah. Yaya.
Yep. All right. Well, probably somebody not in the continental U.S. So the publisher's like, "Curses! Why can't even somebody in the U.S. to save us on shipping? Curses!" Way to go, Yaya. Yes. I will contact you, and you can put you in touch with the publisher. So that we can get all that worked out. Hooray! And we will be doing we finished the contest finally. It's time for a new one. We're sponsored by Fun Again, so we're going to be doing a $50 game certificate. So we need a secret word.
All right.
And I don't think I could possibly work Pantone or whatever, Pantone, that particular cake in. So that's straight out. But does anybody have any suggestions for a secret word?
Like I'm thinking right off the top of the head is a white elephant. I might be able to use that.
Okay.
What else? Talking about Star Wars, of course. We talked about Spirited. Is there any? Can we work in a good afternoon?
Good afternoon.
Let's see what people like suggesting. What do y'all have here? Hawaii, basket, basket. I like that.
Yeah.
Hawaii. Anything else, folks? What do y'all got? Hawaii, basket. And while we're waiting, I'm going to test my little thing here, the right box, make sure I can...
Oh, yes, yeah, we didn't check that up front, right, because we had other technical issues that we had to resolve with much cursing.
Yep, it works.
Okay, cool. Yes.
Change that back to the R&R pre-show. There it is.
I really do want to do good afternoon.
I think that'd be great. Let's see. Anything else? Hot take from Wes Lloyd. Kabuki Kid. I can't even. What does that say?
Kabuki Kid, I believe, is upset that I referred to her as a sesquicentenarian. Oh man, a very old person. I said the word correctly at that point. And she said, "What are you talking? How old do you think I am?" And apparently, she's still harboring that. She's carrying that around with her.
Okay.
I said octogenarian. Yes, that's what I said. Yeah.
Octogenarian. Okay.
Yep.
Let's stay away from those just because I can't pronounce it. Octogenarian. Hot take. Can we work in a good afternoon? I would love to do that, but I don't know if I can.
It's a bit of a stretch. It'll probably be pretty easy to spot.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
Are you sure?
I think I got it.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
So
I will save that. I put that by my entry. So first try in quite a while that I'm doing it. Normally you do all the heavy lifting, but
yeah.
So that's okay.
You're okay with.
I got to work that in. I think I can. And folks, so listen for me to say good afternoon. I will not say good afternoon. You smell of shite. Or shoot, that's curse word. We didn't say good morning or good night. Oh man, so good.
Oh my gosh.
Wankerous cantankerous buffoon. Yep.
Do they have an official soundtrack out already for that movie?
I don't know. They're all on YouTube. So I also set up a playlist. So just keep playing these over and over again off of our TV.
Makes sense. No need for the VHS.
I imagine there must be. I hope there is. Yeah. It's certainly worth it.
Yeah, no need to record with a cassette
player. Exactly. We do not have a cassette deck in the car anymore, so that wouldn't work anyway. Alrighty, so I'm taking the good afternoon. We have to fight to the death now, as is folks. Our way. So let's battle royale. All right. Okay, and that seems to be working. And hopefully my mouse is charged up enough that I can unplug it. Yes, it is. Good.
All right. Good luck, everybody.
Kabuki Kid is making a beeline for me with her star-spangled ninja approach. And no, but she runs screaming to throw down with Sea Otter, while I chase after Ruel. And I get a quick stab on the back of Ruel with my big, mighty blue balloon. Man, I just will not let Ruel rest. And I team up with Zakun Games to take Ruel out. The biggest threat on the board is no more. And then I throw down... Stratus! Or somebody got a health pack. I just disappeared in the scrum. Now I go down with Zen for 1. I am just on a killing spree. Run, weave, and roll. You don't want to mess with my blue balloon. Stratus is trying to take me out from behind. I backstab Corthane. I backstab Corthane again. Another in my... and it is broken. Kabuki slams me down. Kabuki, the first ever winner of a Battle Royale, is still standing. It's Kabuki, Fidelius, and Gizmo Bear, and now it's just the Gizmo and the Kabuki. Is Kabuki gonna get, I think, her second win ever? We're about to find out. It all comes down to this, and she does!
Wow, Kabuki!
The first ever winner of a, is also the winner of the final Battle Royale of the year 2022. Congratulations, Kabuki Kid.
Nice, Kabuki. Well done.
Yep. I don't believe Kabuki has ever customized her character at all. She's still wearing just the standard default, because everybody gets a default color and a default accessory. But I guess she likes being the little star-spangled ninja that runs around. Well done. Kabuki. Okay.
All right, fun.
Some nice symmetry there. All right, cool. So then, all right, so I did just confirm that the browser's working, right? So let me go on ahead and queue stuff up there. I think I'm ready. You're ready, right? You've got your list.
I'm good to go.
Okay. All right, and I am saying good afternoon. Kick a man in the pantaloons.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, there we go. All right, so you ready to go?
I'm good to go, yes.
All righty, then where are the buttons I have to push? It is that button. All right. Okay. Hey everybody, the final R&R episode of 2022 is brought to you by Fun Again Games. And hello, Ruel, how are you doing?
Hello, Richard. I'm doing fantastic, my friend. How are you these days?
I'm doing fine. The Yuletide spirit is over. I've got nothing more to say about that, but I'm looking forward to New Year's 2023. Hopefully, it takes us on an upward trend. I feel like we've been kind of, downward trending on these years, maybe treading water here and there, taking the good with the bad. But 2023, I'm calling it. It's nothing but, ascending. It's going to be, we're to the moon in a good way, Alice.
I love it.
That's a terrible reference. But, I mention all this because, folks, in case you're curious, I am going to be live streaming on New Year's Eve, noon Pacific time at twitch.rahdo.com, doing my most anticipated games for 2023. You've given me your anticipated list, your number one anticipated, correct?
Yes, you have it. You should have it in your email. You'll have a link to that. I can't wait to see all your games, because I know there's some that I only gave you one, but there's a few on mine that I believe will cross over on.
I have a list of 60 right now that I'm trying to narrow down to 25. And that's 60 games I haven't played. If I talk about the games I have played, there's even more. So I've got a few days to figure all that out, and hopefully everybody shows up and has a good time. But that's for tomorrow, because today we are going to do our final games we would buy right now today, sponsored by Fun Again Games. And thank you, as always, Fun Again Games, because they are going to be giving a $50 gift certificate to one lucky viewer of this episode for the last time of the year. Well, how do they win?
Yeah, so folks, for this final one of the year, the final R&R for 2022, you can win by watching the episode and listening for the secret phrase. What's the secret phrase? Glad you asked, Ruel. The secret phrase this time is good afternoon. And one of us
How dare you? How dare you, sir? That's a very triggering phrase. Are you ready to go, man? Let's go. Sorry, folks. In the pre-show for this episode, amongst many things we were talking about, best out-of-print games, all kinds of things, we went deep into our new favorite combined Christmas movie, Spirited, and that is why "good afternoon" is the secret word. And Ruel was apparently not prepared for my umbrage to use such foul language on the show.
Oh, I got so scared. Folks, one of us is going to be saying good afternoon during the show, and you're going to send not that phrase, because that's very, it's
very insulting, yes.
Yeah, very insulting.
That's a total F-bomb in the 1800s.
Send in the name of the game that we're talking about that time in an email to contest@rahdo.com, and you'll be entered to win the gift card from our friends at Fun Again Games.
Yes, and maybe one of the ones that we talk about today will catch your fancy, and if you're lucky, you can put that $50 gift certificate directly to them. That can go towards the game, it can go towards shipping, and one lucky winner. Yeah. So, folks, listen for the good afternoon. My apologies in advance if you find that to be a deeply insulting insult. Again, inside jokes for the greatest Christmas musical of all time, Spirited. Yeah. Streaming now on Apple Plus. I highly recommend it to everybody. And with all that out of the way, hey, how about we talk about some games, Ruel? Do you have your list at the ready?
I do. Are we ready for this? Our top 10 games we'd buy right now?
Y'all ready for
Because
this?
boom, 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 boom,
There we
boom,
go.
boom. Okay, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna go right to our list. Start kicking things off with our number 10, friends. It is actually an expansion to a game
Yes.
that I really enjoyed a few years ago. It's our number 10, Warp's Edge Anomaly. So Warp's Edge, folks, is
Oh,
a
right.
solo. Yes, it's a solo bag builder by one of my favorite designers, Scott Alms, and this is from Renegade Games. And Warp's Edge, again, solo game, bag building. You are fighting. You are the lone survivor of trying to make it through this big fleet of spaceships and the big boss and whatnot. And you're upgrading your craft and you're trying to go against baddies and survive. But here's the thing: with Anomaly, it introduces not only new ships, new abilities, new baddies, but it also introduces a new thing called the Anomaly. So you're going to be actually not just one bag now, you've got a second bag that you're going to be drawing from. And the anomalies, Richard, this is what's cool. On one turn, they're going to be bad. The next turn, they're going to be good. And it's going to go back and forth. So you don't know. You can be pulling things, and it changes things up. I'm really looking for this mechanism because I love the original game. I thought the original game was fantastic.
Yes,
and now
I agree.
this new thing, it's really neat. Scott Holmes, he does all the great solo games. He does so many good ones. He does a Tiny Epic series. He's done stuff for Button Shy Games. He's done all kinds of different designs. He's a very prolific designer, and he always has solo gamers in mind. So I appreciate that as a solo gamer myself, and that's why it's our number 10, Warp's Edge Anomaly.
My big question is there anything in this expansion that allows for two-player play?
That I don't know.
Probably not.
Because the first game, it wasn't. It just supported one player.
That is correct. Yeah, it was a solo-only game, unfortunately, which is too bad because it's so great, and
right?
I don't see any reason that it didn't get the Oniverse treatment of, okay, yeah, I made this for solo, but look, we just did little things, and boom, we can make it a two-player co-op as well. Fingers crossed.
I feel like, I feel like this could be a co-op game, right? I mean, just have another player board, and I don't know why. I don't know. It is part of Renegade solo series. They have a solo series of games, and so this is like their flagship solo game. So maybe that's it. But hopefully in the future, maybe we'll see a two-player variant of this. But in the meantime, Warp's Edge Anomaly, our number 10. Folks.
All right, fair enough. Well, that's an excellent one. If Warp's Edge were a two-player game, I would have totally put it on my list as well. I mean, it's a fantastic solo game. Love it. Oh, yeah. Let's move on to number 9. And now it's an interesting thing. When I was looking through the list of availables this morning, it turns out Fun Again is doing hey, look, they've got a section of their site devoted, here's all the Essen games that you can pre-order that'll be showing up in January. And there were several on that list. So I've got a few pre-orders that we'll be talking about this month, folks. Starting with number 9 on our list, Insecta, the Ladies of Entomology, which is pre-order, should be available in January. Apparently the way they work, if you put a pre-order, they won't send out your order until everything is available. And I'm really excited by this, both because of the subject matter, where it celebrates all the heretofore unsung women scientists and explorers and whatnot who were, pushing forward the science of bug studies, etymology. But that aside, I mean, I love that in and of itself. I have to admit, I am more excited about the gameplay. This is it's got two halves to it. The action selection is very King's Domino, right? And the King Domino, hey, I pick something higher on my initiative speed, so I'll go quicker in the next round, but it means I get a worse thing. Or I pick something more powerful, but I'll go later. And basically the way that works is you jump your worker back and forth from one round to the next, always deciding, well, I might do 2 or 3 bad things in a row because I don't care about these goods, and I want to make sure I get the best thing when it comes up that's perfect for me. I think King Domino, Queen Domino, we've seen it in a bunch of games. It always works. Such a smart, simple, clean, easy to understand mechanism. But the second half of the game is when you actually get these tiles that represent the bugs, or you get these Meritus Study Awards that represent the studies you do. You're taking these tiles and laying them out in a checkerboard pattern, like one of my favorite games of the year, Verdant. And yes. I believe you played Verdant, right? Well, you know that one.
Yeah, I
Yep.
love that game.
Yeah, and that is such a cool and crunchy way to make tile laying work out of where, okay, well, I've got to get, I can only place them in every other space, so it's the bugs surrounded by the award tiles, it's the award tiles surrounded by the bug tiles, and trying to get everything to puzzle together is just a blast. I loved Inverted. They're doing it kind of different here because it's a lot about adjacency, but also a lot about just, hey, getting the right things in the right row and affecting everything in a given row or column. So that sounds cool. I know the King Domino gameplay works because it just works. It's one of the best mechanisms to come out in the last 5 years. Thanks, Bruno Cathala, if I recall correctly. And so those things combined, plus a very, very cool subject matter celebrating the ladies of entomology, the real people behind all this, makes me very excited for number 9, Insecta, the ladies of entomology.
Wow, what a great choice! And I'll admit, I saw this on the list, and on Funnigan's site, and I just zoomed right over it. I just assumed it was about insects or bugs, and I was like, "Oh, this is not the theme," but it's actually about the women in the field. I was like, "Wow!" And then the gameplay you're talking about, this sounds fantastic. Wow, what a great choice!
Yeah, I believe every lady entomologist you can play has their own unique special powers and all of that, and yeah,
so
just
cool.
good stuff. It looks like I'm very excited to give it a go.
That sounds amazing. And speaking of cool games, this is totally different, a completely different game, but it's our number 8, and it is the game Stay Cool. This is a party game from, I believe, Scorpion.
Oh, I was thinking of Ice Cool. Okay.
Oh yeah, no, this is a Stay Cool, not the Penguins, but it's a party game. I got to play this last year, and I was blown away by how unique this game was. It's a sort of like a trivia game that you're gonna be playing. You're gonna be asking questions, but here's the thing, Richard. It's a real-time game, and you're doing 2 things at once. And that's why you have to stay cool under the pressure, because one person on your right is asking you a question. You're gonna give them the answer. One person on the left is also asking you a question, but you have to give your answer using the letter dice. So you're spelling something on the dice at the same time talking to someone about the other end. It gets frantic.
Wait, what?
So it's mind-blowing, right? It's so much fun. It's crazy. And you have 30 seconds or so to answer each one. And then another player, while you're answering these questions, they're turning over the sand timer to make sure you have enough time. They have to go through their requirements. So that's round 1. Round 2, same thing, but now you have to watch the sand timer. So as I'm answering questions on my right and coming up with the answers on dice on my left, I'm also having to keep my eye on the sand timer and telling them to turn it over. It's insane. Finally, the final round, same thing, but now you cannot watch the timer. Yeah, that's crazy. It just ramps up. And it's so perfect with the theme Stay Cool, because it is nothing. Honestly, I sweated through my shirt when I played
I'm sweating thinking about this, trying to imagine figuring out the give me a sample question. I mean, so they're simple questions, right?
Yeah, they're simple questions.
Okay.
So it's like, hey, name a person in this room or something like that, or name one of the Great Lakes, or something nothing too outrageous.
You're an animal from Africa or whatever.
Yeah.
Because I see you've got a Z kind of a thing.
Yeah. And then it's funny, they'll give you like totally easy questions, but because it's so frantic, like spell pen. And I'm like, and you're looking at the dice P, It is one of the funnest party games I've ever played.
Wow.
Now, it's obviously not for everyone. I mean, if you're not into being stressed and you cannot stay cool, you may not want this, but oh my gosh, it's a lot of fun. I actually played this with Monique and Naveen and a couple other people last year, and we had the best time. Highly recommend as far as party games. It's so unique. Nothing out there. Get ready, and bring an extra change of clothes when you play this, folks, because you will sweat through your clothes. That's why it's our number 8. Stay cool.
That sounds very. I just don't know what to think. I mean, that sounds really cool. I love Euro games where I'm interacting with one player on one side differently than the other player. Yep. Turning that into a party game, that sounds like a no-brainer now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Very, very nice. Cool. Okay. Well, our next entry is very, very far removed from that. Nothing like that at all. It's going to be a game that I covered when it was on Kickstarter, I think maybe 2 years ago. Maybe it was last year. Regardless, it's number 7, Dice Theme Park. And I gotta tell you, Ruel, this game from Alley Cat Games is so fantastic. It's actually a sequel to Dice Hospital. It's from different designers from, you know them and love them, the Sagrada guys, Daryl and Adrian. Adam
And
Eskew
Adrian,
and
yep.
Daryl Andrews. And
Yes.
that, man, they have made a super duper crunchy game here. I can't stress enough. It uses the same dice drafting mechanism as Dice Hospital. Every round there are some cards and a bunch of different dice show up that represent different fairgoers, people who might want to come to your theme park. And so we, every turn, we each have a bunch of cards that represent our personnel. We've got, greeters, and we've got accountants and all kinds of stuff. You're going to play 2 of them, and that's going to determine both your initiative. So if you're going to get first dibs on the right people, because grabbing the right dice is very, very important depending on what types of attractions you're making, because different dice represent people who are looking for roller coasters as opposed to, kids rides or, whatever it might be. And then you go through, this game is a really big, heavy, crunchy simulation. You go through a bunch of steps. Everybody can spend money on buying more attractions in the tiling portion of the game. Everybody can, spend money to buy more employees and unlock special powers with the greeters, or not the greeters, the mascots. Mascots are a big deal. The more mascots you have, the more important it is. But basically, so first in a round, you grab some dice. Then you do a whole bunch of economic stuff, a ton of economic stuff. Like, not quite a brass level, but a really surprising amount of economic stuff. Then you get to the heart of the game, which is you have in front of you a big park with all these tiles laid out. All your dice you got, plus ones that have stayed around from the previous round, they show up at the entrance, and now you're going to start having them move around. And whenever they move to a space where there is an attraction, if like in this example, to run the corkscrew, you need to have a yellow roller coaster lever plus somebody else, and they have to have the same die value. So it's very puzzly to get the right dice, the right attendees to the right tile, so that you can run it and score points, make money, whatever it might be. You can upgrade these things all over course. And after that ride is over, one of the dice gets bored and says, okay, I've had enough of this. They both drop in pip value. So both of these would turn from 3s to 2s. And then one of them, you get to move them to an adjacent space. So the longer you play, as you have more and more dice spread out over a bigger and bigger puzzly landscape, you're constantly trying to think about, right, how can I create these combo chains of, if I run this, then I can move that person who's bored over to this space, and I've already set that one up, so they'll go, and now this one will move over here. But now I've got to use a special power to move another one over there, and it's just absolutely incredible. And one of the most important features of the game are the mascots. You can see your little kitty mascot there, because you can put them out on the board, and they all have special powers. They can actually change the color of the dice, they can change the values, but they're all very thematically applied. They can say, oh, good afternoon, sir, won't you follow me over here? And you can use them to move things from one place to another, and it's absolutely fantastic. I have to warn you, this is the far opposite of what we just talked about before, because you would look at this game, you would look at this box art and say, oh yeah, this is probably like a nice little gateway game. Yeah, I could play with my kids or friends and family. No, this game is super duper crunchy. The longer it goes, the puzzles you have to solve are devious and wonderful and always very, very thematically grounded. And I really, really enjoyed my time playing a prototype and can't wait to play the final of Dice Theme Park.
Wow, that sounds awesome. And from what I remember, Dice Hospital was similar, right? It looks really cute and gateway-ish, but it's a lot more than that. It's a
yes,
lot
yeah. But
crunchier
this
than
goes
that.
one step beyond.
I
would have
beyond
called
that. Wow.
Dice Hospital kind of like a Gateway Plus. It's a good next step game. Oh, did you enjoy Ticket to Ride? Do you like hospitals? Here, let's play that. You could probably jump up to it. This is not a next step game. This is a full-on mid-weight, super crunchy. One of them, very analysis paralysis inducing, because you have so many ways you could try to set up those combo chains, and using those mascots and all the special powers you have, it's amazing.
Nice. All right. Great choice. Let's move on. That was a great number 7. We're going to move on to, and you just mentioned the word chains and comboing stuff. Here's one, number 6. Keyforge Adventures, the Abyssal Conspiracy.
Oh,
what is this?
Okay.
This is, folks, Keyforge. I loved it coming out, but it's not for everyone because it's a it's a 1v1 in your face. You're beating each other up, but. Last year,
right. So for people who don't know, Keyforge, like I said, it's a Magic the Gathering dueling wizard type thing. But the thing that's special about Keyforge, when you buy a deck, you get a unique deck unlike any other deck that has ever been printed or seen by anyone. With unique text and all kinds. It's a really cool system if you want to get together with your friends and beat each other over the head with your special customized decks that you buy.
Right.
And so I've always ignored it. But
but last year they came out with Keyforge Adventures, the first one. This is
Yes.
the second one that introduces cooperative play.
Yes.
And this
The
one,
first one did too.
What's that?
This is actually the second time you can play
The second
co-op.
one, that is right. Yeah,
Yes.
this is the second cooperative adventure. This one I'm really interested in because it comes with something new. It adds in a new twist. So not only cooperative, so you're going to be playing, you're trying to chain, combinations together where you can, beat up the enemies, this time together rather
Yeah.
than each other. But then this one includes a spatial element. So there's 9 different bases that you're going to be going to, and you're going to have to decide, you and your teammate, and it can actually play up to 3 cooperatively, so you could have 2 extra teammates where, hey, I'm going to stay on this one base while you go to the other one trying to beat that one up. Or do we all go in one, together and try to beat up? Of course, you're going to make decisions as far as, oh, am I going to stay here, there? You're going to lose some stuff. This is all underwater too, so you're going under the water to a new location. Yeah, I think this looks fantastic. I really enjoyed Keyforge. Just that whole, like you were saying, the system of unique cards in every single one. You bring those cards, that type of system to this, I think it's going to be, I think it's a match made in heaven, honestly.
Yep. This has been on my list ever since they put out the print and play, so you could try it for free, but you got to print out like 5 pages and cut up a bunch of cards and whatnot. So it's great that they're finally bringing them to market. And as I understand it, if you previously got the print and play, you're like, oh, I don't need this. I think they're throwing more stuff in. There's like additional cards to make it worthwhile.
Okay.
But there is one thing to bear in mind, folks. This is an expansion. You don't get this unless you already have some Keyforge decks and you're sick and tired of beating each other over the head and would like to play together. That's where there's 2 of them, right? This one and the previous one.
This is the second one. That is correct. So the first one, I forget the name of the first one.
It's Krakens or something like that, I think.
Yeah, and the decks, folks, they're really affordable. They're maybe up to maybe no more than $10 retail, and you can find those. You get those, you add this expansion, now you can play together. That's why we're excited about number 6, Keyforge Adventures.
Cool. All right. I've never been interested in Keyforge until I heard about this. I am even more excited now because honestly, I did not want to do all the print and play stuff. So that's really cool that they are now available in retail packages. Get that plus a couple of Keyforge decks and save the world instead of beat each other to death. Nice. Okay. Or whatever it is you're doing in Keyforge. Okay, cool. Well, I have got another big, heavy, crunchy game that just missed my top 10 of the year, but I still think it's absolutely fantastic, and it's a game we played together well. It's Oak.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah, baby.
Dice Tower West. We played this together. I loved it.
Yeah, that was the first game you and I ever played together, I think, if I recall correctly.
I believe, it was. That's right. Wow. What a great way to start off. Okay.
Yeah, cool. And it is a fantastic game. A very crunchy, heavy worker placement style thing where we are druids, trying to commune with nature in various and sundry ways. I feel like I've talked about this several times because it was in my, my extended top games of the year, and I think I talked about it recently somewhere else. Oh, yeah, in the last episode, I talked about it with Chris as well. So I keep coming back to Oak because it's really good, and you can confirm, you remember playing it with me, it's really good. Everybody really loved it. The coolest thing about it is your workers, which, by the way, this is an incredibly tight game of resources, and where you can send your workers is limited by the cards you have in your hand, so you have a lot of tough decisions to make. But every once in a while, you can save up enough stuff to upgrade your workers and put these really cool plastic toy pieces on them, kind of like snapping a helmet onto a Lego man, and then suddenly, it's a little Lego policeman or something like that. And you can do that here and make your druids incredibly powerful, almost like game-breakingly powerful, but only if you send them to the right place. And you can only send them to the right place if you've got the right cards. So there's a lot of puzzly stuff going on here, really satisfying, a beautiful production. I've really enjoyed it quite a bit. When I finally got a chance to play it with Jen, she was really impressed by it, and hey, it's now available at retail. So I figured I'd put it on the list. Number 5, Oak.
Yeah, I remember playing this at Dice Tower West and having a really good time with it. And I remember just how you said it was tight. It was super tight, especially at the start, with the resources and stuff. But once it started developing the game, those beautiful, pieces and going to the big oak tree, right? And to druid it up, as they say. A really wonderful game. Good choice.
All right.
Nice. Okay, let's move on to our number 4. This is we talked about Stay Cool earlier. This is another very different type of game. This one is it's so unique. Spaceship Unity. This one, this,
yes.
Friend, you literally, this is so different than anything I've ever seen. you're going to be using your home as part of the game. In this game, it reminds me sort of like Captain Sonar, where you are manning a ship and you're, taking care of a ship. Everyone's got their different stations that they have to wear. You got someone manning taking care of the shields, resources, everything else. But what you're doing is you're actually using the stuff in your house. So, like, for instance, there would be a card. You're playing little episodes, trying to get through these missions.
Cooperatively, trying to get your spaceship to the next starbase or whatever.
To the next starbase. One player is going to have to take care of your shields. And for example, the card would say, go to your curtains or your blinds and, open them, like physically open them up or close them.
For shields up and shields down.
Shields up, shields down. It's so crazy. And I really want to play this because you're going to be, going to using your silverware for stuff to, like, you have to rearrange your silverware to do stuff like for engineering. You might have to use your vacuum cleaner or a blanket. It's so wacky and wild, but this is my jam. I love trying unique games like this. I'm an Omni gamer at heart. I will try anything once. And it's got the space theme, so yay.
Yeah.
It's got this crazy, concept of like using stuff in your ordinary household items, yay. And it's got episodes where you're going from one episode to the next, again going from a starbase to a starbase. I'm sure you're gonna fight the big baddie as well, so I don't know I don't know if you're gonna have to get like a football and throw it or something. I don't know, but I am looking forward to this one a lot.
I really want to give this a go too. I don't know how well it'll work with only 2 players, because this is obviously a raucous party type thing. And with only 2 players, might just feel a little silly and hollow. But it's interesting. For folks who don't know, Grant Lyon, a professional comedian, does a monthly show on the channel called Grant's Greatest Games. He's played this. He put this in last month's Grant's Greatest Games. And he ranked it super high, and he absolutely loved it. Maybe it was the month before. And the thing is, we can't say much about it, because so much of this game is about the joy of discovery of, what do you want me to do now? A card says what? Okay, let's do this. And it's interesting. Apparently, a lot of the things have you say, oh, you know what? For this next action, you have to do a video check, which means somebody has to be recording players doing the thing with their phones to commemorate the activity. Now, I don't want to spoil anything, but I mean, Grant mentioned, hey, when he said, the moment I was asked to do this, I fell so hard in love with the game. So if you don't want to hear it, cover your ears for a second. Basically, what he said, okay, for people who want to know, the moment they said to jump to warp, I had to hold hands with somebody, and both of us had to jump backwards onto a bed to replicate going to warp speed.
I love it.
That gives you folks, you can listen again if you didn't want to hear that spoiled. That gives you an idea of just the joy and the wonder. And I hate to spoil it, but it's such a great way. Now, here's the interesting thing. You don't have to gamble on this, because this is a big gamble, because they don't tell you anything, because they don't want you to spoil all these surprises and stuff you do. It's kind of like spoiling an escape room or something like that. But you can play this right now for free.
Oh, really?
They have released an episode 0. You can download it. Now, it's like 20 pages of cards you have to print out. I was complaining before about the print and play you had to do for those co-op things for Keyforge. That's nothing compared to this. But if you have the wherewithal to make a deck of 20 cards and a bunch of other stuff that you have to do, you can play through an entire episode. And the interesting thing is, I saw this on the list, and I was this close to putting it on here as well after Grant. Okay. I mean, this made my short list. By the way, folks, after we're done, hit that eye in the top right corner screen. Go to the extended version of this video. We're going to talk about 5 more or 10 more games. One of them this was on my short list as well.
Nice.
I was reading through it to understand. It warns you, hey, for this next chapter of the mission, you're going to need 3 winter clothes and a balled up pair of socks and a vacuum cleaner. Go get those things now. So you have them, then you start playing the adventure, playing cards, reading story snippets, making choices, and then it'll say, we're under attack! And you use your balled up sock, and you're supposed to throw it at other players. Everybody has to stand 10 feet away from each other, and then throw and try to hit each other, and the other players try to dodge. Stuff like that in your house. It's like, I love it. Oh my gosh, this is like the ultimate party game. I so want to experience this with like-minded players who would just get caught up in the whimsy of it. It seems so much fun.
Yeah, doesn't it? Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to one day give this a try. That's why it's our number 4, folks. Spaceship Unity.
An excellent choice. So you are all about the partying today. I am quite the opposite. All about the heavy, crunchy Euros today. Because number 3 on the list is Discordia. Which, again, is another one that sadly just missed my top 10 of the year. It was like number 12 or 13 or something like that. It's another one that is on Fun Again's pre-order list from Essen Spiel. So if you order it, you should be picking up in January. And this is a very, very, very cool. You can watch my run through to see more. But this is a cool dice worker placement game, right? In that. Or I should say dice drafting, dice worker placement game, where we are running outposts in early Roman civilization. And the crux of the game is, as a governor of this little outpost in Germania or Britannia or wherever it is, I forget, more and more Roman citizens show up at our door looking for a new life. And it's our job not to accrue fame, not to make money, but to actually find jobs for everybody. And honestly, this is a subject matter that I do not see in enough games where, the way I win is through really altruistic, doing my best for my fellow man kind of things, as opposed to the accumulation of wealth or glory, which is what 99.9% of all board games are all about, because that speaks to really our lesser angel on our shoulder. This one speaks to the greater angel. Where all this is about is just trying to make people's lives better, and I love that. But the tricky thing is, the more you build up your outposts and you have more farms to employ people and more ports to bring ships in from ports of call and to do mercantile actions, the bigger your place gets, the more people show up at your door every round. And so you get into this virtuous cycle of, okay, I've almost got it. Oh no, 10 new people just showed up. I only had 3 more to go. Now I've got 13 people I've got to find jobs for. But okay, I'll keep working it. And the game is won once somebody has found a job for every single meeple on their board. And I absolutely love that. Or 10 rounds, in which case whoever has the fewest unemployed people wins. So I love the theme here. I love the presentation. It's the best looking game from Iron Games that has ever come out. But also the gameplay is really good too. And I could go so deep. There are so many intertwined things, and this game does so many rules breakers. You think you understand how a dice worker placement drafting game works? Discordia works nothing like that. It forces you to kind of rewire your brain with every turn because you have so many different ways to go about solving problems and achieving your goals, which, of course, are just absolutely wonderful. So I love everything about this game. It comes in at number 3, Discordia, as a pre-order.
Nice. Yeah, and I know you talked about this game a couple of times here, and I'm interested in because I do like Iron Games, and I like the fact that they've done this whole new thing with their art where it's a lot more vibrant.
Yes.
To me, it feels more welcoming. I'm more interested in this world than something that's a little more bleak. So great choice. All right. Ready for our number 2, friends.
Okay.
We're moving on. Let me do this here. So I've talked about a couple of party games. I'm not going to talk about.
Are we done with party games?
We're done with party games.
You ready for the big boy table now?
We're gonna sit here at the table and do some crunching. We're gonna play our number 2, Wayfarers of the South Tigris.
Okay.
I'm a huge fan of Sean Phillips, as you are. You've played this game. I have not played this game. I'm super excited because this is the next in the series. We had the West Kingdom, we had the North Sea. Now we're going to the South Tigris. You are placing not only workers this time, as Shem Phillips loves to do, but you're also placing dice, and you are explorers, cartographers, astronomers, mapping out all this, the land, air, and sea, and everything. And you're using workers, and their workers don't belong to anyone, which I like. You're going to go out there, you're going to place them in different sections. And oh man, this just looks so cool. It looks like a table hog as well, which I'm okay with, because I love their games. And you're getting influence on the different guilds as well. And the caravan, that's the interesting part, right?
Yes.
We're going to roll dice and use those workers on your space. You can mitigate dice as well. You have experience with this. I know you.
I have played it. I've done a run through. And first of all, you're right about the table hog. That is definitely something to bear in mind because this is not the board you're looking at. This is just one player's board midway through the game because you start with a board and you explore the sea and play cards to the right. You explore the land and play cards to the left. Once you've explored the land and sea, you can look to the skies and play cards above those. And then you can tuck cards under all the other cards and upgrade all the cards. And you're right. It is a worker placement game. You've got 2 types of workers. The meeples, which as you said, belong to no one because when you send those out to the main boards, they to do actions, they go on cards. And when a player goes and grabs that card, they end up getting that meeple. So it has a very, very cool worker transfer thing that kind of reminds me a little bit of Keyflower, quite frankly. Hey, I send one of my bids out to do that thing. Somebody else wins that tile later on. Oh, I gave you a worker. You're welcome. What can I say? Except you're welcome. But the dice you have are your own personal workers that will always stick with you, and they can only go to your own board. And your caravan, the more tiles you lay on it, the more you upgrade all your dice. rolling a 3 on a die could be nothing other than a 3. But if you put things in the correct column, suddenly, it can give you extra money when you activate 3s, or you can turn 3s into 4s, or all kinds of stuff. Lots of brilliant things. Honestly, I would not be at all surprised if this goes on to be most people's, if not favorite, second or third favorite of the Garphill Crunchies. Where Sam McDonald and Shem Phillips get together. You've had all the West Kingdoms, you've had the North Seas, because this game is absolutely brilliant. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of people's top 10s of the year. I will only say it didn't make mine, unfortunately, because in addition to all the other cool stuff it does, there is one element. Every once in a while, you'll complete a thing that gives you a reward, and your reward is, hey, I can put one of my little influence tokens on a card. And what that means is, if I put it on a card that you really want, Ruel, for you to be able to get that card that is so crucial to your strategy, you now have to pay me for that card. And so in a game all about a super extreme efficiency, managing action placement with wonderful art from the Miko, every once in a while, I can really stick a knife in. And honestly, I just wish that wasn't there. I think for most people, it's a tiny knife. It's more like a butter knife as opposed to an actual dagger or anything. But still, it was to me the one thing that kept it from making my top 10 games of the year, quite frankly, because the mechanisms are brilliant and excellent choice. And unless you're a super Care Bear like me and Jen, I think most people would rightly say, "Oh, Rahdo, you're being silly. It's not too tough. It's not too mean." But for us, we don't need to be mean at all, because there are lots of other games I can play where we're not mean.
All right, cool. Yeah, I can't wait to try it. That's why it's the number 2, folks. That's Wayfarers of the South Tigris. And let's move on to the number 1.
In time for the Board Game Geek TV raid. Welcome, Raiders. We are just to the end of our top 10 games we'd buy right now. You've shown up for me to talk about Come Together right now over me. All righty. This is serves as a good counterpoint to the previous game as much as anything. This is a worker placement game with really cool mechanisms. It's all about trying to put on your best Summer of Love Woodstock type festival by hiring bands, building the stages, attracting the audience, doing media appearances to big up your event. I love the presentation of the game. I love all the little in-jokes that either references real-world bands or real-world games, like Isle of Skye. At first I thought this was like a reference to Arlo Guthrie, but no, it's Isle of Skye, the board game from Alexander Pfister. It's just, but anyway, obviously, Reg Kaput. Obviously, there is a double meaning on that card. So I loved all of that stuff. But, that's not why you come. You come together for the really interesting, crunchy worker placement gameplay. And the beautiful thing about this is, I send one of my workers, my roadies, out to the board, to the area that is all about, hiring more bands to put on a show, right? I don't get the band member right away. I just say, I'm reserving that one for later, but I'd really like to get that band. Because I've gone to that worker placement board, you, Royal, might say, oh, you know what? I think I'm going to go over there too. Because we don't get to activate those workers until somebody says, you know what, I'm going to spend an entire turn activating that entire board. And then everybody who's there gets a payday. And so this is a game where players are not really trying to sabotage each other, but trying to create to leverage opportunities that other players create for them. If I've really invested a lot in building stages, everybody knows, hey, next turn, I'm probably going to go on ahead and make my stage because I want to get all those guys to work. So it makes sense for everybody to rush over there and get a little bit of something too. And on the flip side, if both you and I, Ruel, went to the same place, we might go half the game waiting for the other person to spend the turn activating the area. It's like, well, I'm not going to do it. You do it. I'm not going to do it. Okay, I got other stuff I could do. Sooner or later, and then maybe somebody else will show up, and then the third person puts a fourth thing down, and then they activate. So there's a really interesting flow to this game that's quite unlike any other worker placement game. A very stop and start where everything is driven by player choice. This is not a game on a fixed schedule. This is the players building the schedule for the game, and it is a wonderful presentation, the whole Summer of Love flower power that infuses everything, but incredibly brilliant, very, very interactive gameplay that at no time is ever about me trying to kick down your sandcastle, which is why it makes it to the top of my list as the last game I'm talking about that you can pre-order from their Essen games of the year. Fun again, Come Together. And I just pushed the wrong button. Come Together. Okay.
Together. There you are. Nice choice. Yeah, I really can't wait to play this game. I love the theme, and I didn't know I had that humor throughout it. I saw
Oh
like
yeah.
Great Western Cowboy. That's hilarious. So good choice. All right, great list. Wow, a lot of great
Okay.
games today.
Well, folks, we are at the end of the show. And did one of you hear either that man or me say the secret word, good afternoon? You wankerous, cantankerous buffoon. If so, as it says right down there at the bottom of the screen, send the name of the game we were talking about when that greatest of all expletives was uttered, and to contest@rahdo.com, and you can enter to win a $50 gift certificate from Fun Again Games, sponsors of the show. That is it, Ruel. We are Dunsville for the year, the final episode. You got any closing words?
No, I just want to say thank you again to you and to everyone that watches. The R&R Show is such a good time. I always look forward to it, and just want to wish you, Richard, and everyone that watches a happy new year. Be safe, be kind to each other, and enjoy.
Those are very, very good words. My final words are good afternoon! And thanks for watching, everybody. And thanks again to sponsor of the show, Fun Again Games. Have a very, very nice day. Talk to you later. So long. Bye-bye. Done. Okay, that went pretty well.
When you said the secret word, I was trying so hard not to just start cracking up.
Yeah, you did. I saw you did.
I was like,
I kind of worked it in okay, right?
To laugh. Yeah, that was perfect, and I was like trying not to give it away. Oh, it was so good, so good.
Yep.
Okay, friends, we are in the post show now. Thank you for hanging out. Want to thank Board Game TV for the raid.
Yes,
welcome,
thank you,
raiders. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, it looks like some of them stuck around too. Very nice.
Yeah, cool.
Folks, in the post show, new raiders who might not have been here before, we're about to do some Q&A with the audience. So if you have any questions for us about life, the universe, and everything, or just board games, start your question with a question mark, because that puts in a special cue. Folks, long timers, if you see somebody asking a question and they didn't do it, copy and paste their question with a question mark so we don't miss it. But before we get to that, we're not done with the list. Ruel, what else? What were your numbers 10 through 6?
Yeah, so a funny thing, I was considering putting Oak on my list, but I just
really?
left it off. Yeah, the other ones that were on that didn't make it, Gartenbau, that's from 25th Century Games. That game just looks gorgeous. I love it.
It is. I mean, actually, and it's aside from the fact that it's jaw-droppingly beautiful with all the flowers.
Yeah.
It's a really good crunchy dual layer tile layer. I covered it many years ago with a very ugly prototype. It's really impressive. That was a good one. I think I thought pretty hard about that one.
Cool. Another one, Airmail. This is a pick up and deliver game. So I know it probably wouldn't be your jam, but
no,
it's about the U.S. post system, and you're trying to. Yeah, it's like brand new. Airmail is brand new, and it's like the turn of the century or whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to deliver letters and whatnot. The next one on my list, I really thought about this one. Precognition. It came out this year. You know this one, right?
Yes, I do. Honestly, I thought about putting this one on, but I hoped you would, so I didn't have to, because we've been doing this long enough that we play these games with each other. I
thought it was going to be on your list too.
Oh, okay, there you go. Yeah. Sorry, Precognition. You perhaps did not prognosticate as well as you would have hoped.
Right.
Or neither of us, or we didn't. But anyway, go ahead.
We did, yeah. So that was on my list. Also, this one a classic for me. This one it was on a Ding and Dent list actually, so you can get it cheap. Baron Park, one of my favorite lighter tile laying games from Phil Walker Harding. Praise be. And the final one, Terracotta Army. I know Amy and Maggie love that one. I just learned it recently, and I really enjoy it. I think Terracotta Army is one of the best games.
Available only in Ding and Dent. They've sold out of the main one. So, hey, why not save $5? Folks, I've actually gotten Ding and Dent games from Fun Again Games. They're practically invisible, these dings and dents. At least the one I got.
And again, it's never anything inside the game. It's always just
exactly. It's just like, there's a wrinkle on the box, on the corner or something like that you won't even see when you put it on the shelf.
Yep. So, Terracotta Army, worker placement, and area control. It's got a ton of minis, and I think it's fantastic. And I know Amy and Maggie enjoyed it as well. But yeah, those were the 5 that didn't make my list this time.
Yep.
What about you, Richard?
Okay, I'm looking at my list, and I did have Garten Bow on my list, so it did make my
okay.
short. It came in at number 7. I also
Okay.
had Spaceship Unity, which came in at my number 9. Because I just want to play that one so freaking bad. It looks so good.
Just one time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Other ones, Weather Machine, which, it was here this morning. It's a good thing I didn't put it on the list then, because it
Sold
has
out now.
in the last 3 hours it has sold out, and I'm not surprised. Honestly, they were the only store that had it. I looked and nobody else had it for sale.
Really?
They did, and I was going to be look at it, but then it's like I couldn't tell people to run right out and pay $170.
Yeah.
Even if they do have the $10 off, and you can all that, but but I'm very excited about it. But it doesn't matter because it has sold out. The latest big super monstrosity in the best possible way from Vita Lasardo. Just look at it. So I had that one, and what else did I have? I had you had an expansion or two. So did I.
Yep.
Where is it? It is Origins First Builders, Ancient Wonders. This was my number 6. I almost put this on the list. But I didn't, kind of, because there's no pictures that I could show. But Origins from Adam Kopinski is so freaking good. And this just kind of, whoa, hey, where did this come from? I didn't know this was coming, and boom, it's here. It's not even the new year yet. It adds 2 new modules to an absolutely fantastic worker placement game, where it turns out Ancient Aliens did actually help us get a leg up back in the era of antiquity. So I'm really excited for the expansion, mostly because it gives me a chance to get Origins back to the table. So I'm excited about that one too. So there you go, folks.
Nice.
Alrighty.
Nice. I noticed we both had some Adam Kopinski games. I had Tarkata.
What was yours?
You had Tarkata Army. He was one of the designers.
Oh, that's right. Is that true?
Yeah. One co-designed that one.
Yeah, Adam Kopinski, he is definitely on the rise. A good designer.
On the rise. All right, cool. Let's see. What are let's do some Q&A. We got some time.
Okay.
So folks, again, start those questions.
We're not rating you after this, are we?
No.
Okay,
I'm
all right.
not streaming today. Mr. Boom 105 says, "What games are you both itching to play right now?"
That was asked earlier. Almost made a top 3. I'll tell you what I'm itching to play right now. Weather Machine. It is literally set up on the room next door. I have scheduled all day tomorrow just to read the rules and learn how to play, so that Jen and I can actually then play it on Thursday, because it is such a big beast of a game, and I'm terrified. Paul Grogan, you must save me. I believe he has a how to play for it, so I'm sure I'll be watching that 3 times to get it all down, because a Vita Lasardo game is a special thing, and man, if I don't catch Jen in the right frame of mind where she's really ready just to lose herself in mechanisms, so I've got to get it right. So that's my big one. What about you?
Nice. For me, this one up here, I don't know if you can see it. Oh, no, you can't see it. Tealatum. Yeah, Tealatum. I have this. Yeah, I have this set up, or I'm going to be setting up in the other room to learn it. I'm going to be learning how to play it solo. And I'll be soloing this game on my channel.
Good.
Hopefully first week of the year.
If I recall, it had a good solo mode. And it's one of the. It's a very interesting game. I liked it a lot. Didn't make my top 10. Actually, it could probably made my top 20, but Jen didn't like it as much. But I talked about all that in my video. But yeah, it's great. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Another one for me, which we just mentioned. I do have a copy of Precognition.
Oh, you do?
I do. So I am very excited. I'm hoping to get that played before the. If I not, I will certainly play it in January, because we didn't say what it is. It is a card drafting game where every round, Seven Wonders or Sushi Go. Hey, I got a hand of 4 cards. I get one for myself, and then I hand the rest to my neighbor. Right? You do that all the time. In this game, I hand them to my neighbor, but I force them to play one of them. And of the other ones that I don't force them to play, on the next round, they're going to give me one of them back. So there's this really weird thing about how your cards shift hands all the time, going from left to right and back and forth. I think it'll be simpler, a 2-player game, because I only have 1 player. Because I think with the higher player count games, hey, I give of the cards I've got in my hand, I play one for myself. I make the player to my left play one, and I give the other 2 to the player to the right. And next round, of those 2 I gave them, they've got to give me 1 back. So I'm already planning on, if they give me that one back, then that's going to tie in really well with this other one and all kinds of stuff. So it seems really neat.
Yeah, that mechanism seems really neat. Like I remember reading the old overview or the rules or
Yeah.
whatever, how they talk about, hey, you can actually sort of see in the future by what cards are you going to be giving.
Yeah, because
getting back and stuff.
one of these two you're giving away, they are
Yeah,
required to give back to you. So can
yeah,
you anticipate which one they won't value so they'll give it back, kind of a thing.
yeah. Very cool mechanism. Cool. Let's continue on with the questions here.
Okay.
We've got Montreal Zoo. I know you covered Endless Winter a long time ago, but does it hold to another Euro in 2022?
I
Does it
assume he means
hold?
how does it hold up?
Oh, how does it hold up? Okay.
I think actually Montreal Zoo, you must have sent this when I was doing a live stream the other day, and I probably just missed it. My apologies.
Oh, okay.
Well, heck, can you see it? Hold on. If I focus on me, no, you can't. Just to the right of my city is Endless Winter. It's just hold on a second. There it is. Oh no, you can't see behind all those things.
Oh, no.
There it is. It remains. In a year where I'm getting rid of like 70 games from my collection, Endless Winter has, even though it takes up more space than a normal game, has found a home. It will be staying, Montreal Zoo.
Good. That's all you need to know. If it's staying, it's good.
Yep.
Let's see. B. Travis says, "Hey Ruel, thanks to whomever suggested picking up AHL at Ollie.
Ooh,
I
good.
ran out, picked it up for $10. Nice deal. Right on, B. Travis. Yeah,
I'm happy for Travis, but I'm very sad. That game should
Yeah.
still be commanding full prices because it's so freaking good.
It is, and we talked about this before. Why we didn't
It's
think
the
it
title.
really,
It has to be.
took off.
You just kind of mumbled your way through it because nobody knows how to say it.
Yeah, I don't know Portuguese, and that's the best I can do. AHL, folks.
Yeah.
So it should have been known as like Block Party.
That is the perfect name for it because it is
Right?
you're literally running a block party by doing
Yeah.
Tetris blocks. It should be called Block Party.
Yeah.
And
Come on, Pandasaurus, change it.
please,
Okay.
yeah, definitely.
Perfect.
I hope, Restoration Games. I mean, I know they do really old games. Get into
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah.
reprint that with a new title.
Agreed. Corthane, favorite New Year's traditions.
Hmm.
Do you have any New Year's traditions? I'm trying to think of mine.
Well, you have one, which is you have a new one that you're trying to start with what your rocket book or whatever it was.
I'm gonna a rocket book. I'm gonna be getting organized this year. But as far as traditions, I don't, Michelle. I mean, we do try to stay up till midnight and bring in the new year. Sometimes we'll go out to a party. Sometimes we'll just do it at home. Sometimes we'll hang out with family. We don't have any like set things. This year, I think we're gonna go to a brewery this year because this brewery, a local brewery that only does sour beers. That's the one beer that Michelle will drink, and we don't really drink that much anyways. But they're celebrating their 6-year anniversary, and we were there for the first New Year's. So we figured,
wow,
hey,
okay.
we want to go back for the anniversary.
And you're gonna stay there till midnight.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah, you're getting old. There's a lot of gray in that beard there.
Yeah, I want to come back home and play games.
There you go. Yeah.
What about you?
We've lost. I mean, back in our 20s, we would stay up and and do things at the stroke of midnight. But Jen's gonna be asleep by then, and I don't really care. We've lost all interest in it. I do have one New Year tradition, which is I mentioned it earlier, but for folks, come back Saturday at noon Pacific time, so that'll be New Year's Eve for a lot of people. Do you know, Ruel, only 30% of my audience is in America. The overwhelming majority of my audience is in Europe.
Wow.
So for them, it'll be New Year's
Cool.
Eve, and I will be counting down my top 25 most anticipated games of 2023, including number 26 from that man, plus several more. And then I'll be putting it live on, or I'll be editing it and then transposing it to YouTube to put that up on New Year's Day. I think I have done this now, this Christmas Day thing and this New Year's Day thing for like 7 years on the channel. I always do these things. So that's my one big tradition, and it has nothing to do with anything other than just providing more fun content for you folks.
Nice. Awesome. Joe King asks, did you get what you wished for at Christmas? Within reason. I didn't really wish. Well, I got to watch Spirited. I wished for that, and
I wished for you to watch it, so I got what I wanted to.
Yes.
No, we kind of talked about that question in the pre-show. What went down for Yuletide shenanigans?
Yeah. So rewind and check that
Yes.
out when you're watching this on the VOD. B. Travis, which games play very differently at 3+ players than they do with 2 players?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
3+ players. Oh, geez, yeah. There's going to be a lot of those. Quite frankly. And as a general rule, it's going to be hard for me to list them because if they do that, that's a game I tend not to keep.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll, off the top of my head, the one that I love at 2 players more than I do at 3 or 4, a classic, Castles of Burgundy. I just feel like that game, it's just there's a lot of downtime in that game when you're playing 4 players. That's it's just the nature of the beast, and I preferred it too. And I actually, you know what I do, Richard? A friend of mine taught me this variant where 2 players, you're supposed to take out tiles from each of the little depots or
Yes.
whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep everything in. Then you have like more choices. It's way more fun, I think. At 2
Oh,
players.
that's ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
sacrilege. How dare you?
You just do all kinds of stuff. It's fun, and
Is there
it's a
anybody
lot
out
quicker,
there in the
too.
board game media sphere whose first name starts with R? Because I'm looking for a new co-host now, folks.
Ooh, this is the end of the year, folks. I'm bringing out all the hot takes. Yeah, try that, folks. But that's the first game I think of, just because I remember all my 3 and 4 player games went way longer than my 2 player games of Castle of Burgundy. Just at the top of my head, I know there's a lot of games when you play 3 or 4 or versus 2 players, where 2 players you have to bring in like a dummy player or an AI. That's always different.
Yep.
A ton of those games.
Yeah, I mean, most famously, Seven Wonders, which I will still use my big hot take of. Seven Wonders is best as a 2-player game because the game becomes significantly heavier and crunchier when you bring in the free city, that third dummy player that players share control over, and it just becomes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've played Seven Wonders a ton at all player counts, and to this day, I still think it is best as a 2-player game because it's literally twice as heavy. It's more crunchy.
Wow.
It's not a Gateway Plus game anymore. It's a gamer's game.
And we've talked about this before. You prefer that over Seven Wonders Duel, the specific 2-player
Seven Wonders
game,
Duel
right?
is a beautiful game that is just for no reason at all, just insanely cutthroat. I have no idea why they decided to do that when the original Seven Wonders was an ode to peaceful cooperation and collaboration between opponents. And then they say, oh, now let's make a 2-player version of it, and let's just make players, literally, oh, I stole your money. And I'm not even going to use it. I'm going to set it on fire in front of you so you can't have it and I can't have it. Ha ha! Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Just drives me nuts.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, this is a good one here. From Kim Manuel Ant.
Okay.
Do you read reviews of games before playing them for non-sponsored or non-preview games? Do the reviews still influence your decisions to play a game? For example, the controversial Dice Tower review of Weather Machine, which I haven't watched yet.
I have not seen the controversial review
neither.
of Dice Tower Weather Machine. Have I?
I have not.
If I have, I don't remember it. But I do all the time. Yeah, I am constantly devouring board game media. Although, honestly, no offense to Tom and the gang, the much better place, no offense to me, no offense to Ruel, the best place you can go to get a really well-rounded view of Weather Machine or any game is go to Board Game Geek, and up at the top, there is a number that says, hey, here's all the people who have rated and commented on this game. Click that. Click on the show me only comments, and then spend some time looking through the 8s and 9s and 10s, and spend some time looking through the 4s and 5s and 6s. And you will get everything that people hate about the game, everything people love about the game, and you'll get a wisdom of crowd summary. That is what I use more than anything else. I literally used that this morning as I was trying to make the list for our show today, and I'm like, oh, right. I remember hearing about this game. I haven't played that game. I could go and try to find a Dice Tower thing, but instead, no, I'll just go to Board Game Geek and see what everybody who thinks it's a 10, what do they love about it? Everybody who thinks it's a 1, what do they hate about it? Okay, that gives me an idea of how I'm going to respond. That is by far the single best tip you can have for making informed decisions about games. Although second best is, of course, coming and checking out my final thoughts on any video. Obviously, third, of course, would be Ruel's. But yeah, no, but I do. Yeah. And it's interesting. So apparently they must have thrown it in the garbage, I'm assuming. And I find myself watching those less than I used to because I got in trouble a few years ago commenting publicly on one, and it created a huge firestorm. And I'm just like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. What I really need to do is create a fake account on Board Game Geek so I can actually give Tom a piece of my mind completely anonymously through the power of our High All Lover 132. And then I really think it's Ruel instead of me.
Fake account. Hell, no one does that on the internet.
No.
So do you? Just to answer Kim's question, so do you read reviews of games before playing them for non-sponsored?
Yeah, you should answer too, of course.
Yeah, I do, but it doesn't influence whether I'm going to play it or not. I mean, I'll read them just to sort of get a sense of, hey, what is this game? But ultimately, if the theme appeals to me, the mechanism. I mean, I'm an Omni gamer, so I'll try almost anything once, just because. But I do read them because, like Richard, I consume a ton of content just because that's always been the way I do it. But as far as controversial stuff, I mean, yeah, I've read some of them before. I have not read the Weather Machine one, but that wouldn't stop me from playing a game. No.
And in fact, I generally find if Dice Tower hates on a thing, that makes me want to play it all the more. Because I find I tend to disagree with their hot takes more often than I agree when it boils right down to it. And I love Tom. I think he's a great guy. Just he often gets it wrong from my worldview.
Yeah, exactly. We all have different tastes.
Exactly.
Weave and roll. Games you love the start but hate the end, or vice versa. Ooh.
Well, again, if I hated either side, I got rid of it because I already have. I mean, I will take any excuse I can to get rid of any game out of my collection.
Yeah.
So that means I got to go to gone.rahdo.com and look at games I've gotten rid of, and were any of them... Because I'm sure that happens.
Here's one I can think of right off, again, top of my head. The one I didn't... I mean, I love this game, but I never liked the start of Terraforming Mars. It was slow.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Once you got the Prelude expansion... Yeah, Prelude expansion fixed all that. And honestly, the Prelude expansion, if you got Ares Expedition, I think that fixes it in spades. Like, Ares Expedition, folks, you want Terraforming Mars experience in a lot less time, a lot less setup. That's the one you get. So that's the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, like you, if I hate the end or start of something, I'm getting rid of it.
Yeah, and I kind of blot it out of my mind because I'd rather, keep my synapses reserved for things that make me happy as opposed to things that make me unhappy.
Same.
Geez, there must be some. I'm just like looking through all the games I've ever gotten rid of. Okay, Le Havre.
Oh, Le Havre, okay.
Le Havre, because there's this really weird thing. The way they do loans, you could take 10 loans, but you only have to pay interest on one of them for the entire game. And so it creates this really weird thing where you can get this huge amount of bloat. And at the end of the game, it's like, oh, okay. But actually, that just hurts the whole game because there's just I never worry about feeding anybody. In fact, I purposely avoid trying to feed anybody so that I can just take loans because at the end of the game, when I'm so flush with cash, right, I'll just pay off all these loans just in a heartbeat and not even give it a second thought. And that makes the ending of the game very anticlimactic. Because I mean, if I'd had to pay interest on all of those loans, then I'd be really scared and terrified and afraid to take loans. But no, in that game, you take loans like crazy. And it's just, I just don't like it. So that's an example, although that's not even a very good one. I apologize, Weave and Roll. Ask another one, I'll do better.
It's a tough question. I mean, it really is because the stuff that
unless you're really good at cataloging that. I mean, and some people are like, oh, let me tell you all the things I hate about everything. And that's just not the way my brain works. If I hated it, I just want to forget about it.
And just got rid of it. Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. Let's see. What else do we have here? That's the end of the Q&A.
Oh, okay. Well, we have caught up, which means, folks, we're going to start trying to raid somebody. And if you want, you can try and squeeze a question or two in on the way out the door. But otherwise, Ruel, do you see anybody you like for a raidy raid?
Let's see. Who's on Twitch right now. Who's playing board games? What do we got here? Not much. Let's see. Following board games. Well, slim pickings right now. I mean, English ones are slim pickings right now. There's a lot of French and Spanish right now. We do have our friends at Space Cats Peace Turtles. They're always playing Twilight Imperium. We also have.
All right.
Someone's playing Baseball Highlights 2045, but I believe they're playing in French.
No! Merde!
Merde. Pro Meeples. Who are these people? They are playing some episode number 9. Never mind. It's French. It's number 9. Number 9. It is French. English speakers, where are you? I don't think we have any.
Wow.
Hexile? No, that's. I mean, if you want to watch Star Wars minis. Okay, here's someone playing Marvel Champions.
Hey, one of my faves.
There you go.
Who?
The channel's name is From the Ashes Games. From the Ashes Games.
Oh, From the Ashes Games. I see it. They have 4 viewers, so they must be new. What do they got going on there? Oh, it looks very exciting. They've got a nice camera angle so you can see everything. It looks like they've only just started.
Yep.
And perfect, folks. Send a whole lot of Rahdo raid love to From the Ashes and see if can you make out what the heroes are? Oh, they're playing X-Men stuff. It looks like it's Phoenix, and I'm gonna say that's Cyclops taking on I can't quite make out who, but go get them, folks. In where is it? In 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Raid! Go, 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 go. All right. That's cool.
Cool. Awesome.
I'm tempted to watch a little bit of that myself.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, we hit them hard. They had 10. We hit them with 52. So
nice.
that is it.
The
Hey,
raid is
do you
on.
want to stick around? Do you have time? Do you want to do the setting stuff we were talking about, or do you have other things to do today?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
All right, then. Let's hang up and do that offline, shall we? Bye,
Okay,
everybody.
yeah.
Good afternoon.
Bye, everybody.